Welcome to the Mark Zone. From a ladder in TLC to a plunge off the stage to a buckshot that lands and the whole place shakes. I remember Brian and Manny of the crowd all red, Bret Hart, Eddie Guerrero, the names in my head. From Full Gear to SummerSlam, I'm back at it again. Same kid, same grin when the music hits the ring. Yeah, I know the script before they start. Still I lose it when they pull at my heart. Welcome to the Mark Zone, where the ring ropes feel like home. From the attitude days to tonight, I'm still lit up by that first hot fight. Welcome to the Mark Zone, where the chants get loud and the camera rolls. WWE, AEW, I'm all in for the show. Welcome to the Mark Zone.
And now we are going live with the best pro wrestling community in the world. A safe space for all wrestling fans to come together and love pro wrestling. You have now entered.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Mark Zone. I am SMA, and this is a community you've been looking for. If you're new to the show, this is a pro wrestling community where you can voice your opinions and your questions without the abuse, without the bullshit. If you haven't already, invite your friends. Join us, like the video, share the videos, YouTube stream, and most importantly, drop your comments below. It's already popping off with the usuals. Thank you all for joining me. We have a very, very big rundown today. And yes, RIP Dolly Parton. I'm a big fan of country music, and I saw that this morning a few hours ago. So RIP Dolly Parton. Islands in the Stream will be cranking loud today. Don't worry about that. Thank you all for joining me. I'll get to the comments quickly before we get to the rundown. Hubbard Report, thanks for joining us. Doug, I do see the comments before the stream starts. So that's okay. I can still see them. RIP Dolly Parton from Adam. Yes. No, I'm not the boy band 5, but I do like a couple of their songs, Adam. So don't worry about that. Hopefully the Juggalo turns up tonight. Yes. Bloody Mania 19. I did watch that. So if you did watch that as well, Adam, let me know what you thought about it. Evening to Chunk, Doug, evening to you, evening to Adam. RIP Dolly Parton from Hubbard. Yep. If you work together, Chunk might be able to get the smartest alive to sing Backstreet Boys. And remember Danielson saying he only did it because Ospreay forced him. Fun fact, I absolutely love the Backstreet Boys. I don't care to admit it. I love Backstreet Boys. All that shit. Love it. All the love songs. Give it to me. Love it. Hubbard, great intro. I'm going to tune in later as I've got to go to sleep for work. No worries, Hubbard. We'll see you next time. If you can't make it during the stream, guys, I know it's late for obviously the people in the UK and abroad. Send me a voice note and we'll read you live on the show. If you can't comment live, send me a voice note with your thought or opinion, anything you have about pro wrestling, and we'll answer that in the mailbag. Would anybody know someone big enough for social media presence to ask for a campaign on Omega and the Bunks to use Carry On Wayward Son? Yes, that was a good entrance when they really did use that, Doug. Nikki Storm uses Larger Than Life song Loud at Progress. Yes, a lot of good theme songs going on at the moment. Now, let's get to the rundown of the show because we do have a pretty big show today. I think we're going to be here for a while. We got the All In preview. So obviously AEW All In is this week. I did a bit of a breakdown with this as well on the first Pro Wrestling Perspective episode with the boys from Culture of Wrestling. I've got a few episodes lined up for that as well. That is basically another stream that I'm going to be doing every week, hopefully, with guests coming onto the show, debating topics and everything pro wrestling. We talked about the All In preview with them, so we'll do that again today. And I've got some big guests lined up for that, including Bobby Monsoon, who's probably the biggest right now. Also, Takes by Tom. We're working out of time with him as well, which is going to be very interesting because he's obviously very pro WWE. So that'll be a very interesting chat there as well. So All In preview, we'll start with that. Was last week's Dynamite leading into All In one of their best shows of the year? I thought it was, but it's very polarizing online, and a lot of people don't think it was. So interesting to hear your thoughts there. Obviously, the big news coming out of last week, Ilja Dragunov released by the WWE, or his contract did run out and he didn't re-sign, so he will be leaving the WWE, or has already left. There is no non-compete clause there, so he is probably going to be showing up at All In. So we'll talk about Ilja Dragunov and his future there. Also, more contracts coming up in AEW and the WWE. So we'll go through the list of contracts that are expiring in the next year, where they are going, if they should re-sign or if they should just be let go from either company. So we'll talk about that. We'll go through that list. Speaking of signings, Avery Styles, the son of AJ Styles, a great AJ Styles, signed with TNA. A very big move for him. I have some thoughts on that with him signing with TNA and been going back and forth with a few people online after he did announce his signing with TNA. So we'll talk about that. A couple other small issues I want to talk about. The issue I see with Ring of Honor, Maple Leaf Pro, and Major League Wrestling as well with MLW as well. There are some problems I see with those products at the moment as to why they're probably hindering in their growth. And I'll talk about that. And some other little tidbit that came out yesterday with The Rock filming a movie during WrestleMania season, and he won't have enough time for a camp. So will he be showing up at WrestleMania next year for the big showdown with Roman in Saudi Arabia? Because I think that's where we think he definitely will be showing up in some capacity, but will he be wrestling? Because he is filming a very big movie in Fast Forever around December time. So we'll talk about that as well. Doug, there was a report of talk that the Bucks may be considering retiring soon, hoping they go into 2027. And as you mentioned, the run-up to Saudi Mania should be considered a critical period. Doug, we'll talk about that when we get to the contract issues, reports as well. Chunk, Nikki Storm, we've already read that. Thanks for Hubbard. Adam, here's a topic to debate. With women's wrestling advancing a lot since the Attitude Era, is it getting closer to parity with men faster than any other sport? That's a very good topic to debate. We'll get to that, Adam. Did love that Jinder Mahal, clearing up the 90-day compete clause. That actually made a lot of sense, and that was cool. I really like that too, that he did that. Avery Styles, did you know I'm AJ's kid? Yeah, I think we figured that out, Adam. And Adam as well on Wrestling 26. Good morning to you, mate. Thanks for joining us as well. Well, let's start with Adam's comment before we get into AEW All In. With women's wrestling advancing a lot since the Attitude Era, is it getting closer to parity with men faster than any other sport? Let me know what you guys think about Adam's comment there in the comments. It's a tough one to answer. Like if you're looking at obviously the major women's sports which is pretty much soccer, NBA, soccer, basketball. In Australia, the AFL now as well. There's more women coming into the sport. But there's also like track and field. You look at the Olympics and things like that. A lot of the women there, in terms of times and stuff, it's probably not close to the men. Just physically, they can't do it. But in terms of excitement, even if you look at tennis, I a lot of the time like to watch the women's tennis a lot more than the men, and not for the reasons you're probably thinking. So get that out of your mind. That is a part of it. But they are very good. So I don't know if it's definitely closer. Definitely than Attitude Era, because the Attitude Era was basically brought up on Brian Penny's match and pillow fights and all that type of shit. Just them coming out there looking sexy. There was really only a few women that could actually get the spotlight and actually wrestle properly. Girls like Lita, Trish Stratus, Jazz. I actually watched that triple threat last night from WrestleMania 17 as well. So they've obviously been presented a lot more better, in a better light since the Attitude Era, because it was just all about the sex appeal back then. So yes, it has bridge quite a gap. And if you're looking at the WWE, for example, now and AEW, some of the best matches they have are for the women. A couple of years ago, the triple threat with Io, Bianca, and Rhea was probably the best show of the entire WrestleMania weekend and one of the best women's matches they've had, they've had in a long time. You look at AEW, last year I thought Toni Storm and Mercedes put on one of the best women's matches in AEW history, and again, another fantastic match. Toni Storm and Mariah. There's been a lot of, and Mercedes is always having a good, very, very good matches. So they do steal the show a lot of the time, but it is a good discussion to have, Adam. So thanks for dropping that in there. Chuck, Gail Kim, and Awesome Kong were the first to truly advance women's wrestling on TV and TNA from what I remember. That is 100% correct as well. Back in that kind of 04-ish era, 04, 05, 06, Awesome Kong and Gail Kim, they were like the cornerstones of that TNA division. And TNA was probably the first company to make women's wrestling serious. They really, really were. So TNA really did trailblaze in that regard with the Knockouts division. And then going after those kind of trailblazers, they had a lot of people coming into the business after that as well in the women's division. I love the Beautiful People back then. That faction, Madison Rayne, Victoria came over. What did she change her name to when she went to TNA? But Victoria from WWE came over. They had a lot of women there, which was really good. And then people that we know today obviously started in TNA as well, like your Chelsea Greens as well, and a few others in the WWE right now. So let's start with AEW All In, the preview of All In. Now, we all know, I'm not going to break it down too much because I did do this the other day. Stampede, thanks for joining us, mate. Pretty solid TNA Lockdown Sunday. I thought it really was too. I've got to watch, I watched bits and pieces of it. I haven't had a chance to watch it all because I was watching, I did catch up on Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor, which was a fantastic show as well. Really, really good show. Go check that out if you haven't seen that as well. And I have seen bits and pieces of the Lockdown event too, but I'm definitely going to be checking it out. That's right, Tara. She changed her name to Tara. She was Victorian WWE. AEW All In. So if we're looking at the card, let's look at the card now. Willow Nightingale, Mercedes. We'll run it from the top. I think that's going to be a really good match. I thought they've done a really, really good job of building this feud and of building this match. I think they've done a really good job, to be honest, and probably the best job that they've done throughout the entire card of building the story over the past few weeks, especially with what they did last week with the promo backstage that led to the pull apart brawl in the ring. I thought that was really, really good stuff. I really, really did. Excited for that. And I think that's going to be one of the better matches on the card, to be honest. Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay. I've been pretty outspoken. I've got a bit of an angle here that I think is going to happen I think in some form or fashion, there's going to be an interaction here with the Death Riders and United Empire at the end of this after Will Ospreay lifts that title. That's what I think is going to happen. But of course, we don't even really have to talk about this match, about how good it's going to be with those two guys on paper. I think it's pretty obvious that it's going to be an absolutely incredible match. So can't wait for that. Cajun Cope versus the Bucks. Now, this is probably a dream match for a lot of people. I think this is going to be really, really good, and I'm excited to see where the tag division goes after this. I think the Young Bucks are going to take those titles, and then over the next few weeks, we're going to see the integration of FTR, who's going to be showing up in some capacity here. Whether they come in to screw the finish or they come in after the match, FTR will be showing up. They are at Rev Pro. My guy Stampede has shown me all that as well. They're going to be in England. They're going to be in Rev Pro the day before as well. So they're going to be there. So they're going to be showing up in some capacity. The Motor City Machine Guns will be involved in this tag division, obviously, in some capacity as well. And then we've got the New Day, who will eventually be involved, but they're going to be in the Trios division now. So there's a lot that can happen in this tag division and building some new tag teams here. So I'm excited to see where that leads. The Casino Gauntlet. Obviously, this is something that we don't really know what's going to happen because we don't know who's going to be involved. Now, Andrade, MJF, and Ciampa are the only ones that are announced, but you can bet your house on a lot of people that are going to be there, like your Roderick Strongs, Orange Cassidy, Briscoe, obviously the ones that we think are going to show up as well in that gauntlet, guys like Ilja Dragunov, which we'll speak about in a second, potentially Sheamus. There's going to be a lot of people involved. I like the gauntlet concept. I just think that they should do this only once a year and make it a special event at All In only. They can potentially do it if someone has to vacate titles or something like that on the fly, but this shouldn't be a regular thing. I think the Casino Gauntlet should be done like their Royal Rumble, where it's a special event and a special occasion. So I'm really excited to see what happens there. John Moxley or Claudio versus Kyle or Nigel. I think we all kind of can see where this is heading with Moxley and McGuinness in the final. We'll talk about that a little bit in depth, more in depth here as well, because I've been, again, very outspoken about me not kind of liking the fact that Nigel McGuinness is going to be in the final, potentially lifting that cup, because it really doesn't really lead to anything after this. It's just going to be a moment. If he does retire, that's a different story. If this is leading to his retirement at All In Wembley, obviously that makes a lot of sense. If that is the case, then obviously you'd probably be okay with it. But I just think that they could have done a much better job if they were going to do this tournament. I don't think the tournament was needed at all anyway. But I think it's pretty obvious at this point it's going to be McGuinness and Moxley. They could go with McGuinness and Claudio with that Ring of Honor kind of history there, I guess. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're taking the title off Moxley until Wembley. So we'll see where that leads. Get to some of the comments quickly here. Chunk, an argument I've seen online is that Mercedes and Willow should have been a triple threat with Tekla. Yes. Love to know your thoughts on you guys who watch AEW. I kind of agree with that point as well, Chunk, because Tekla, for me, is probably the most complete women's wrestler in the entire industry right now. She put the women's division on her back. The women's division at that point was kind of stale before Tekla kind of took over, and she's just an absolute superstar. If you haven't checked her out, definitely go do so, because she is fucking incredible. She really, really is. She's been doing work in Japan with the Sisters of Sin. They're holding the trios belts over in Stardom. So that's where they're doing their work. But she should definitely be involved in All In. She's, again, one of the most complete wrestlers in the entire business. So a triple threat, I think, would have been a really, really good thing to do. But we don't know what's going to happen leading out of this. I do think after this, she will show up again as well. And we do have All Out only 4 weeks away, so we can build to that as well. But I don't think she's going to get the title reign anytime soon, because I think Mercedes is probably going to win. I've been flip-flopping over this over the past couple of days with who's going to win, Willow or Mercedes. But Tekla's going to be in the fold. She's going to be fine. All these people losing it because she hasn't been on TV and they buried her and all this type of shit is just completely wrong. She's going to be fine. She's still going to be running that division. Doug started Moxie's self-read audio book. Probably halfway through it, doing the artwork this afternoon. You can see why the audiobook received some praise. I want to check that out because I think that'll be very interesting as well, Doug. Stampede, Nick Wayne will be in the gauntlet 100%. Nick Wayne has been doing some unbelievable work lately. The kid's only 19 or 20, I believe. And he's just doing unbelievable work. If you saw his match with Bandito at Ring of Honor over the weekend, incredible. The kid is just incredible, and he has all the tools to be a superstar in the future. I like the fact that they turned him heel early on because it's teaching him different aspects, different characters, how to be a heel, how to cut a promo as a heel and as a face. And they're teaching him early, and I really, really like that. In the ring, the guy's just going to be fucking incredible, especially when he grows into his body. He's still got that kind of baby body on him. When he puts some work in the gym and grows up a little bit, he's going to be an absolute fucking superstar for the future. Skace, my man, you comment a lot on my videos. Thanks for joining us. I believe this is probably your first time on the live stream, so thanks for joining us, mate. Like the show, AEW, JCW, Sparta Cycle Live, great content. Keep it up. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for joining us, and you're always welcome here. This is what this community is about. Thanks for that, mate. We'll talk a little bit about JCW as well. Zaza, my man, let's get it, bro. Zaza is one of the boys from the Culture of Wrestling, so go check them out. Pro Wrestling Perspective, episode 1 last week. Check that out with a discussion I had with Zaza, Big Murph, and OP as well. Stampede will be a great moment for Nigel if he retires at Wembley. 100% it will be. Tekla deserves more, Zaza. I agree. Willow Mercedes does not need Tekla in the storyline. I agree with that, Stampede, as well. She doesn't need to be inserted into this particular storyline because Willow and Mercedes do have the history. And as I said, I think this is the best story that they've told throughout this whole card here. So you're right in that regard. I just want to see Tekla on the card in some facet, which probably is not happening now. Mox is a candid reader, so you're talking about his books there. I definitely got to read that, Doug. I'm not 100% sold on Castagnoli to make up the C Cup final. The notion of Moxley winning Casino Gauntlet makes a lot of sense. That's what I said the other day. I said that on the stream with the boys on the Pro Wrestling Perspective. I think that's one that not a lot of people are looking at right now, where Moxley potentially loses to McGuinness. They kind of open the show with that potentially, goes into the gauntlet. Mox is the last one to come out, and Mox wins that because there is a story to be told there. With Will Ospreay winning the title, Moxley has a contract, the Death Rider story. This is where I think the whole United Empire thing is going to come into it. And it's going to be United Empire and the Death Riders at Blood and Guts. That is my prediction. I've been sticking with that. And I think that's the way it's going to go. Adam Walker, it could be worse. AEW could take the WWE logic and claim their show upcoming in France. Texas, yep, homecoming like they did with WWE Irish Stars in the UK. I never really understood that either, to be honest, Adam. That is a good point. Because when they go to, like they went to Germany, clash in Berlin, and it's Gunther's homecoming. He's Austrian, so it's not his homecoming. And then they do it's a show in Scotland or whatever, and they do, Finn Balor's his homecoming. No, it's not. He's Irish. So, or they go to England and they do Drew McIntyre. He's Scottish. He's not English. So I never really understood that either. Stampede next to Battle of the Super Juniors runs were great for his development too. 100%. I like the fact this is and a great time we had Zaza. 100%. Thanks for joining us, mate. I like the fact that they do that a lot. AEW send their talent to Japan to get a little bit more experience, especially the younger guys. They did it with Anna Jay as well. Now they're doing it with Sisters of Sin. And Nick Wayne. Obviously, Takesha's been over there and things like that as well, because obviously he's from there. But yeah, Nick's done tremendous work this year. The way he's grown in the ring and his character development has been really good. Clash in Wales was Drew's homecoming. That's what I was saying, Chunk. It doesn't really make sense at all, just because they're going to think. And they do this a lot as well. They did it with Grand Slam Australia the first time, where they said, and they do this in the UFC a lot too. Jay White is from New Zealand. He's not from Australia. And they said, like Jay White's family's here. It's his homecoming for him. I get it. We're right there, but it's not his homecoming. We're not in New Zealand. They do this in the UFC as well, where they used to have Israel Adesanya and Kai Kara France fight in Australia because New Zealand's not really a hot market for it. And they call it the homecoming. It's not really their homecoming. But I get what they're trying to do there. Continuing on with the card here for All In. Divine Dominion versus Brawling Birds. Now, this is one that I'm probably the least invested in on the entire card. Not because it's going to be a bad match. I think it's going to be a really good match. And Lena Cross, I'm a big fan of hers, obviously coming from Australia. I've seen her on the indies for quite a while now, and I thought she's probably well overdue to be in some of these big companies here. So I think it's going to be a good match. I like Megan Bain as well. Obviously, I like Jamie Hayter. Winter's all right too. The only reason why I'm not invested in this is because, again, we see what's going to happen here. The Brawling Birds have been built up for this moment for the past year since they got together for Wembley. So I don't think anyone thinks that they're going to be losing this match. I would like to see more focus on this women's tag division as well, because I think that it's been in a bit of a holding pattern until we got to this point, because the plan is always to pull it on the Brawling Birds. So I would like to see where this goes after it, especially with the men's tag division as well, to get both these tag divisions heating up. So again, going to be a good match, but probably the least investment from me on the card. Kevin Knight and Darby Allin. This is one that's kind of hasn't been thrown together. I won't say thrown together because obviously the story is coming from Double or Nothing, where he did turn heel. And again, going to be a very, very fun match. Falls count anywhere. There's going to be crazy shit. There's going to be literal fireworks somewhere. That they've been telling that story for a while. Jumping from crazy heights and all this shit. It's going to be, it's in terms of like spectacle and the crazy shit that's going to happen, this match is the one that's going to steal the show in that regard. Kevin Knight with the TNT title hasn't really done much since he's been with it, because he's been thrown, hasn't been much direction for him, because he's been thrown in the main event scene as well while he does have that TNT title. They haven't really built anyone else up in that TNT division other than Darby. I think they should be doing this with Ciampa. I would really want to see Ciampa with this belt and have a meaningful run. I love Ciampa. I think he should have had it for a lot longer of a time than he did. He had it for about a week when he came in, which is just terrible booking. I love Ciampa. I love Kevin Knight. I like Darby Allin as well. One thing I said about Darby Allin, I would like to see him have some kind of character arc. Darby is always going to be Darby in terms of the way he moves, and what the crazy shit he does, and his look and aesthetic and all that type of stuff. He's never going to change. But let's have some type of character change here, character arc. I would like to see him lose, go away for a while and try and find himself, come back with some, like dye his hair black and change his face paint or something like that, or be like go on some kind of direction. I just want to see something different from Darby. It's really been the same shit since day one with him. So I want to see something different there, but I think ultimately Kevin Knight should be winning this. I really do. If Kevin Knight does drop the title to Darby, TNT title has always been an interchangeable title. They've never really had sustainable runs there, because it's one of those titles where it's a TV title. So this is going to be swapped around a lot. If Kevin Knight does drop the belt, I would like to see this lead to some kind of story with the Don Callis family, with him not getting the job done and leading to a feud with maybe Kyle Fletcher or something like that. That's what I would like to see happen from this. Something has to come from this. Then, in my opinion, actually, I'll get to that last. The trios match, that's kind of been announced, but hasn't really been announced. Hangman and Bandito versing, they haven't really announced it yet. This is obviously going to come to fruition on Dynamite tomorrow, where I think we all see that Swerve and the New Day is going to be coming in. So they're going to be coming in some form or fashion. Then you've got the Dogs there, and then you've got the Gun Club there as well, or Bullet Club Gold, whatever you want to call them. The rumor is this is going to be a stadium stampede for the trios titles. Now, I don't know how exactly that is going to work in a stadium stampede with 3 or 4 teams, because there's whatever that's going to be, 12 to 15 guys. It's going to be hard to tell some kind of story or make a match mean anything in this stadium stampede for trios titles, because if it's just team versus team, that's a different story. But there's 3 or 4 teams that are going to be involved. So it's going to be a bit of a weird one for me. But we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be very exciting. Like I said, the best thing they can do in this trios division is put it on Swerve and the New Day, because that will finally put some focus on this division. The division has been virtually dead since the House of Black dropped them. They had the glory days when they first brought them in with the Elite, the Death Triangle, the House of Black, and even you can say the Acclaimed as well, but that's where it kind of fell off. But they haven't been prominent ever since then. Nobody's really given 2 shits about them. They've been interchanged way too much as well. So this will bring some focus to it, because as soon as the New Day rocks up, if they've got those trios belts, they're going to make headlines because they're there. And again, it's going to bring focus to the division, and you've got one of your biggest stars, single stars in Swerve in there as well. And there's a story that can be told here with Swerve and the New Day, given their history. We can get the Hurt Syndicate involved in the trios division as well, because obviously they would want to work together. So there's a lot that can happen here. Before I get to this last match, I'll read some of the comments before they do get away from me. Adam, so many Kiwis get claimed as Australian. Yeah, I don't really understand it. I mean, I do, but it doesn't really make sense. Adam Walker, Darby vs. Kevin will be interesting in a street fight. If you've ever been in a fight in London streets, you're usually drunk, yet Darby doesn't drink. Yeah, like I said, that will probably steal the show in terms of the crazy shit that's going to happen. Stampede, Kevin Knight, 136-day TNT title reign, 12 defenses. The 12 defenses, I understand what you're saying, Stampede, but how many of them do like are actually meaningful, or do you remember? Probably the Speedball one, and that's probably about it. But other than that, they haven't been very memorable. I can't even remember most of them, to be honest with you. Albert, thanks for joining us, man. I believe you're a first-time commenter as well. So you're in that running for that $150 voucher. We're very close to that, by the way. I think we've only got about 8 commenters left till we reach the 50, and we're going to be spinning that wheel for that $150 voucher for one of you guys who show support here. So Evan Bourne, AEW Raw Wrestling, and to you back, Dominic Mysterio, Giant AEW. I don't know what you're saying, Albert, but thanks for joining us anyway. Stampede, I would guess we'll get more clarity on Trios match this Wednesday. Yeah, 100%. I think New Day is going to show up on Wednesday in Glasgow to announce themselves in this Trios match, because obviously they're going to announce it before, and also to sell some more tickets as well, because as soon as the New Day rocks up, tickets are going to move 100%. They're at about 42, 43,000 at the moment. Can they reach? I think 45 is a given. I reckon if they do, like if the New Day gets announced and they do a bit of a mega push into the card, I think we can probably reach about 48, I reckon. I don't think we'll reach 50, but I reckon they'll get to about 47, 48, which would be a great number considering where they were only a few months ago. I was very, very concerned a few months ago. But they've done a good job to kind of recover from that. Obviously, they had the ticket sales and all that type of stuff with the first responders and all that type of thing. But nevertheless, they're filling the stadium, which is all we want to see to get that atmosphere going. Adam Walker, 8 commentators, you say, it's pretty easy to set up false accounts, insert evil laugh. Hey, if you want to set up a false account, that's up to you, man. That's up to you. It gets the 50 commenters up. It gets my algorithm going as well, hopefully, anyway. So, yeah, thanks for that, Adam. The last match, which I think is going to steal the show, probably the most investment outside of Willow and Mercedes for me. And in my opinion, 3 of the best wrestlers in the world, either right now or definitely over the past 3 to 5 years. Takeshita, Fletcher, and Okada for that international championship. I like the story that they've been telling. They've been telling the story for a while. With the breakup with the Don Callis family, really, and the battle of supremacy for the Don Callis family. Where I would like to see this head. I believe Okada is going to take the title of Kyle Fletcher. I think that's where we're leading here. Okada will go back to Don Callis. Don Callis will basically hitch his wagon to Okada. What I would really like to see here is the Don Callis family slowly break up after this. Kyle Fletcher turns into a face and kind of moves away from the Don Callis family. Especially, he could tell that story with Kevin Knight as well. They can kind of fight there, and maybe Kevin Knight goes over and Fletcher leads the Don Callis family. And then slowly, Don Callis just puts all his attention on Okada. Everyone leaves, and it's just Don Callis and Okada. And then we lead somewhere down the line. I think we're going to get Kenny and Okada again, Okada and Ospreay. There's so many matches here with the Don Callis family that can play out. That I'm really excited for. But this match, I think, will definitely steal the show. 3 of the best wrestlers in the world. Kyle Fletcher is the future of the pro wrestling business. So is Takeshita. Okada is obviously one of those guys that's held pro wrestling on his back for a very, very long time. And this is going to absolutely steal the show. Again, I think Okada is going over. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about this. Not only this match, but other matches as well. Who you think is going to win? What I really want to know from you guys is, what do you think the fallout is from All In? Where do you think the major story is leading out of All In from here? Again, my prediction, my opinion, is that the major fallout after the main event is going to lead somewhere between Death Riders and United Empire. I've been saying it a lot. Let me know what you guys think. Chunk, I'm sure I saw Adam Walker and Adam Walker 18 already. Adam on Wrestling 26. I don't see more matches being added. It looks like the core has been set. I think there's 9 matches that have been announced. I think we're going to get a couple more on the 0 hour, Adam. So I think they're definitely going to add some. I reckon it. I don't know. I reckon there'll be some kind of mishmash of a 6-man tag or something like that that's going to be on the pre-show. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, if the Brawling Birds and the Divine Dominion are on the pre-show as well on the 0 hour to close it, to close it on that kind of high with the girls winning. But I would like to see them not add any more, to be honest with you, because the gauntlet's going to go for a while. That trios match, if it is a Stadium Stampede, is going to go for a while as well. And I think 8 is really the perfect balance of pro wrestling and storytelling as well for the pay-per-view. So especially with all these matches, looking down the card, I don't see any of these matches going less than 20 minutes, except for Divine Dominion probably, which will go about 12 to 15, I reckon. Other than that, all of these are going 20, 25 minutes plus, I think, anyway. Albert, John Moxley, The Shield, WWE, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. Are you just like putting buzzwords in there or something, Albert? Yeah, John Moxley is going to be an integral part of this show, though, Albert. And I think there's going to be some kind of angle coming out of this with John Moxley as one of the centerpieces here. Chunk, when I watched AEW in 2024, Kyle Fletcher was one guy I really enjoyed and thought he'd be a huge star. Can only imagine how better he got. If you're looking at him now compared to 2024, Aaron, Chunk, I'm telling you, it's a different man. He's put on so much size, shredded as fuck. He's working the ring. His promos have been so much better as well. I'm assuming you're going to watch All In because it's in London and this would be a good time for you as well. You don't have to wake up early and whatever else. Watch All In, and I'm sure you're going to be very, very impressed because he, in my opinion, either him or Takeshita are the best professional wrestlers in the world right now. I'll probably give the edge to Kyle Fletcher just because he can talk more. Doug, the other Doug, the battle for supremacy with the Dougs here again this week. What's happening, y'all? Hope everyone's having a blessed day. Bless you, Doug, as well. Thanks for joining us, mate. On the main show, yeah. Adam, I think on the main show, I think they're done. To be honest, and I would like to keep it that way. The pre-show, then maybe they'll add one more, maybe two more. We'll see. Adam Walker, Major Fallout, United Empire versus Death Riders, Kyle versus Don Callis, New Day versus Young Bucks, Omega should soul search again, Hangman turning on Brodito. There's some good calls there. I agree with most of them. New Day versus Young Bucks, I don't think will happen straight away because they're going into that trios division. So I don't think that's going to happen straight away, and they should probably hold off anyway because you don't have to blow your load all in one show. Omega should soul search again. I can't wait. Please, God, turn Kenny Omega heel. Kenny Omega as a heel is 100 times better as Kenny Omega as a face. I really hope that's the arc for him. Again, with the Don Callis family, I hope everyone leaves with Okada, and then Omega comes back in with Don Callis, and it's only Don Callis and Omega, and he just tries to build them up again. Tell some kind of story there. I would love to see that happen. Doug, Steamboat vs. Savage WrestleMania 3 was 14 minutes. I still believe it's the greatest match in WrestleMania history. I agree with you there. I'm not saying every match has to be 15, 20, 25 minutes either. As long as there's substance there, as long as there's a story to be told. Some of them are too long. We had this conversation with Redemption as well. Redemption was just way, way too long, and it didn't need to be. It was a kind of slapped together pay-per-view, and they had matches going for half an hour. Not needed. Stampede, you get 67 to 70% of the show featuring in-ring content. And that's AEW style, and that's fine. That's fantastic. But 60 to 70% of the show is wrestling is great. But 8 matches is perfect, not 12. And you're there for 6.5 hours. 6.5 hours is way too long. Keep the show to 5 hours at a max. We can kind of get away with a little bit more because it's all in, and I get it. That's your WrestleMania. But they need to do a better job of trimming down these shows, I think. Chunk, I'm away with family when All In is on. Oh, shit. I would have been at Progress on the Monday. Would have gone to All In if it was about. Definitely watch it, though, if you can't watch it live. But definitely watch it because I think it's going to be the show of the year, hands down. And probably the best All In that they've ever put on. The Vision, Braun, Breaker, Austin Fury, Logan Paul, AEW. I don't think they're going to AEW. Bret Hart, Steve Austin. That's one of my favorite Stampede as well. AEW is a home of professional wrestling. It's probably 85% in-ring content at the pay-per-views. Doug, that is their MO. That is their identity. And that's great, again. But we just need to keep these pay-per-views under 6 hours. It's way, way too long. Hologram returning in the gauntlet. That is a good shout because I think Earl Clone will be there. Hologram is hopefully fit. They can finally tell this story with Hologram and Earl Clone. Two fantastic pro wrestlers. They're going to tell I don't know if the story is going to be great because neither of them can speak English properly. But the match will be incredible. So I can't wait for that. Stampede, they're generally 70% range. They have never gone above 70. Guys, if you don't follow Stampede on X, definitely go out of your way to do so because the way he breaks down, especially the New Japan Stardom things, but all pro wrestling, TNA, WWE, AEW. He breaks down all the numbers, and he's very, very knowledgeable. So definitely go check out Stampede. Stampede, I would like to have you on as well, Pro Wrestling Perspective, because we can have a very, very good chat, mate, because we have been going back and forth a lot. I'm in agreement with Stampede, Doug, me too. I like the long pay-per-views. Their holidays just start at 4 p.m. Eastern. The starting time is also a problem. It's always been a problem with AEW as well. I don't know why they don't learn from it. So that's the all-in card. Again, I think this is going to be probably the best show they've ever done on paper. And it's going to be a fantastic show. I really, really can't wait. For me, it's going to be a fucking grind because it's starting at, I think, about 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to stay up literally all night because it's going to go for 6 hours. And it's going to be on a Monday here, I believe. So I've got work. I'm going to have to literally be up for 24 hours because I'm going to go straight to work after, which is going to be fucked. But for AEW, I'll do it. And if you're doing content, you have to be doing it live. There's no way I'm not watching it live. I enjoyed getting money worth out of pay-per-view. Me too, Doug. They do give you bang for your buck 100%. Stampede watching Surreyism now. The hologram Elko tag team would be so good. 100%. They'll be ripper. But they need to tell that story first. And Albert, you're still spamming all these just wrestling terms, which I love. Keep it going. Judgment Day, Rule of the World, Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan, AEW. So that's an all-in card. Again, it's going to be a fantastic, fantastic show. Now, leading into this, the all-in build, I think a lot of us were critical of the all-in build and what was happening there leading into all-in. It did start to heat up after Beach Break, but a lot of people kind of turned off because MJF lost the belt. And we didn't know where we're going with MJF. MJF is probably the biggest hole here because he's, again, stuck in the gauntlet like he was last year. And obviously the main story with him is Andrade, which is going to be a great feud. 100%, two fantastic pro wrestlers. 100%. But in All In, your biggest show of the year, MJF should be headlining or near headlining this show, in my opinion. The build was lacking quite a bit across the card. A lot of these matches kind of came together only about 3 to 4 weeks before the show. So, and this Continental Cup, I've been very critical of because it's taken a lot of TV time over the past month or so. And a lot of it was just not pointless matches, but people in there that you knew were not going to win. And it was just taking up a lot of TV time where we could have told a lot more stories. Would have liked to see guys like the New Day come in potentially earlier to try and sell some tickets, try and tell a bit of a story before we get to All In. And guys like Motor City Machine Guns who haven't been featured at all, FTR haven't been there. So the build was lacking until last week. I thought last week was one of the best Dynamite shows I've seen all year, to be honest with you. I thought they told a lot of stories. The promos were great. The Trios division started heating up again. Willow and Mercedes had a fantastic segment. I don't think the Ospreay and Omega segment went too long. I thought it was the exact story that they needed to tell. Yes, the Trios matches, they had the two six-man tag matches that probably didn't need to be there. Probably could have just told a story in a better way. But I think it was done for a reason as well, because introducing Hanare and Akira to AEW television before All In, again, because I think this is going to lead to the United Empire in some facet showing up at All In. So I think that was done by design. And they did a little bit of an angle after with the Young Bucks and Cajun Cope with the bump and things like that to have a bit of tension there. I thought it was a home run show. I really did. A lot of people were critical for it for some reason. I really don't understand. People were calling it boring. And I really didn't understand it at all. But that is a beauty of pro wrestling. That is a beauty of perspective. And this community, because you can come here and tell me exactly why I'm wrong and tell me why you're right. And that's what we're doing here. That's what the comments are for. That is what this community is for. So I don't know what you guys thought about All In last week. About Dynamite last week and Collision. But I thought Dynamite was probably one of the best shows of the year. The matches were always were great. They were all great on paper. They were all great in the ring. I just thought leading into All In, we could have had a little bit of a better build here across the card. There's a lot of people on the card that haven't really been featured coming into it. Like I said, Motor City Machine Guns who aren't on the card, FTR who aren't on the card, and even Tekla as well. So there's a lot of holes there, but I thought they could have done a better job. Now, going into Dynamite, going into All In, like I said, New Day I thought should be introduced before, and there's another guy that we think is pretty much probably the only place he's going to go outside of New Japan is AEW, is Ilja Dragunov. Now, obviously the big story last week was Ilja Dragunov being released or not renewing his contract with the WWE. Now, I think we kind of, I don't know if we all saw this coming because he obviously wasn't featured at all, pretty much, on WWE television in months and months and months. But I think it was kind of baffling to me that they just let him go. Now, the reports are that they offered him a contract and he said no, and I think good on him because the way they were using him was just absolutely terrible, in my opinion. Not only that, he's a guy that is better suited to a New Japan, to an AEW than to the WWE because he is a pro wrestler first. It's the same with guys like Gunther. I think Gunther would be very much better suited going to places like AEW and New Japan because he's a pro wrestler. He's not a sports entertainer. Ilja Dragunov in NXT was tremendous. If any of you watched him in NXT UK with his runs there, he can cut a really good promo still as well. And he is very believable as his psycho badass. I would love to see something like Ilja Dragunov and Ciampa, just two fucking psychos going at it. That would be great. There's so much matchups in AEW that Ilja can have that he's had before in the indies and things like that, but the mainstream kind of wrestling fan hasn't really seen it either, which would be great. Like I said, Ciampa and Dragunov, all the big names, Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, Ospreay, Omega, like all these matches that Dragunov can have and been thrown in there will just be fucking incredible. It really, really will be. And I can't wait to see him turn up there. There's really only two places he's going, New Japan or AEW. Whether he goes to either or, it doesn't really matter because he's going to show up in either or company anyway. So if it's a dual contract, if it's a full-time AEW contract, he can still show up in New Japan. He can still show up in AEW if he chooses to sign with New Japan. But there's just so much potential with this guy. And he's only, I think, 32 years old. So he's still very, very young and he's still got a lot to do in the business. So let me know what you guys think about Ilja Dragunov. I think he's going to be showing up in the gauntlet. I think most people do think that. Potentially Sheamus as well. So I think the gauntlet's going to be very exciting from that standpoint because we're going to have some debuts. We're going to have some exciting things happen there. With Ilja Dragunov, if he does sign with AEW, I would love to see him in the Death Riders to add another layer there, especially if they're telling this kind of story where I think they're leading, getting Moxley out of there. Like a Moxley and Dragunov feud would be great. Will be fucking great. Moxley, Dragunov and Darby Allin as well. I know that's not Death Riders, but there's just so many matchups this guy can have. Do you think he's going to be showing up in the gauntlet, or where do you guys think he's going to be showing up? Adam, I had to warn someone going to AEW Dynamite in Glasgow. Apparently she didn't know anything about AEW, didn't know that. Oh, yes, there will be blood. Yes. This is a problem, Adam. Adam and all the guys from the UK here, let me know this as well, because this is something that I've been banging on about for pretty much the inception of AEW. Their marketing department fucking sucks. And I say this almost every week. They're going to Glasgow. It's going to be, they'll have a decent crowd. I think they're going to end up having about 5 or 6K in the building. But when they go to these other regions, even when they're going to places in the States, no, unless you're a hardcore AEW fan, you watch AEW or you're aware of it, you don't know who the fuck they are. There's no advertising. They don't go on local TV. They don't make use of local celebrities or local sports stars or whatever. They do absolutely nothing. Their marketing department sucks. If they're going to somewhere like Scotland, why not have the UK boys go around and do some whatever their Fox Sports is in Scotland or whatever, and go on TV, do some radio runs, do some of that promotion. I know Jeff Jarrett was there, but Jeff Jarrett he's not going to sell tickets. So their marketing department absolutely sucks. And you said it yourself, she didn't even know about what Dynamite was, what AEW was, and that they don't believe. She has no idea who the hell they are. That is a big problem with AEW. It's always been their problem. Stampede, MJF is dealing with an injury which explains the structure of his matches since... That's exactly what I said on the last stream Stampede. I believe he actually is injured with his knee, which is why we've only seen him in a triple threat match, which can hide his injury. His leg is heavily taped up. And in the gauntlet, he can do a couple spots, go out the ring for 5 minutes, and then come back in when he needs to and throw someone out and steal the pin. Pretty simple. I 100% agree with you. I think he is slightly injured as well, which is why they pivoted and took the title off of him. Doug, I fought tooth and nail in the debates for MJF to main event, but probably over 50% wanted Omega and the leg injury. I think the injury plays a lot of a part of it, to be honest with you. Like I said, Stampede, Ilya was never a fit for the WWE structure or presentation for the fan base they aim to attract 100%. That's why he's more geared to AEW, I think, anyway. Stampede, so I agree with you there. Ilya was never getting above the mid-card. I don't think it was either. And you know what? That's fine as well. This is the other thing that people have to understand. Not every signing is going to come in and be world champion. Not everyone has to be world champion. Not everyone is going to be world champion. It's fine for them to be in the mid-card. It's fine for them to be in the tag division or the trios division. The main thing is getting them featured on TV and getting them to tell meaningful stories. Doesn't mean they have to be world champion. Ilja Dragunov doesn't have to be world champion. Either do guys like Ricochet. They don't have to be world champion. It's not about that. If Sheamus comes in, Tommaso Ciampa, they don't need to be world champions. They just have to tell us meaningful stories, have fantastic banger matches, and do what AEW is there to do. Give us wrestling first. That's all. They don't need to all be world champions. The Shield back with John Moxley, Albert. Yeah, I wish that happened. Adam Walker, how are New Japan's financials doing? I remember reading the pandemic almost killed them. I don't think they've ever been really financially stable since then. And I think a lot of them are on dual contracts or paper appearance deals and things like that, which is why a lot of the guys are leaving as well. Hiromu Takahashi just debuted in WWE and he's going to be teaming with Nakamura as well. So I don't think the money is there anymore. I think that's why Gabe Kidd is doing a lot more work with AEW as well. Guys like David Finlay left. I think that they really need to leverage off the partnerships that they have and these paper appearance deals to keep them afloat, to be honest. I could be wrong, though. Chunk, Ilya is an amazing in-ring wrestler, but there's nothing else going for him, unfortunately. I think he can actually tell a good story and a good promo. He's very believable as a villain bad guy, but they just need to give him the tools to do so. Doug, as well, I thought Dynamite and Cleveland were both good. My only problem with AEW is the builds. Omega is great on the mic, but only MJF seems to share that skill. MJF is hurt, and I get Ospreay being the man. Like I said, Kenny Omega as a heel is 100 times better as Kenny Omega as a face. I've been saying that for a long, long time. I really have, and I hope to God Kenny goes full mega heel. Moxley's not leaving the Death Riders, and they have not been telling that story anywhere at any time. I'm not saying they have been telling that story. I'm saying they will be telling that story, Stampede. I think that's where we're leading. And again, I'm sticking with my prediction about United Empire and Death Riders. I'm sticking there. But we can debate this all day. That's why I want you on the pro wrestling perspective. Hit me up for that because I think we can have a good discussion here. Doug, Ospreay just sits him great in the mic, so his backstage segments seem better. And he agrees with you, Stampede. Ospreay isn't great on the mic, but he's not terrible either. I think he's good when he puts some emotion into it, like we saw in that pre-tape with Omega. Chunk, I have no idea of any AEW show going on here other than All In. I only know about All In through word of mouth. Only advert I've seen is a small billboard pitch side at Fulham this last weekend. And that is exactly my point. Again, this is their biggest problem. It's always been their biggest problem. I don't know what the hell they're doing in this marketing team, but this has always been their biggest problem. And it's holding them down. It really, really is. And that's coming from someone who lives in the UK, guys, for All In. It's just ridiculous at this point. Adam, Jamie Hayter was on radio in Glasgow today. Okay. Big show, Kyle Fletcher, Sky Blue were over months ago. Greater is heavily involved. Okay. That's good for me to know then, because obviously I'm not going to see that here in Australia, but I was going to mention Grado as well, because I know he's very famous over there. Divine Dominion retaining would be gutsy cord. Respect that so much. They could have a Roman Athena-like run. I don't think they're retaining. They're definitely not retaining. They've been leading to this for over a year now. Adam, if you only look up Grado thing, make it him beating Drew Galloway for the ICW world title, or his story about TNA sending him a drawing of a checker. I know a lot about Grado. I saw him probably about 10 years ago now. Maybe it wasn't that far back. But on YouTube when he came with his entrance, Madonna entrance, I saw it and I was like, this is fucking awesome. I loved it. And that's where I heard about Grado. Doug, until Ilya and the New Day are actually confirmed, all his speculation. Just, Doug, I'll tell you now, I'll stick my neck out there and I'll put all my money on the line that they'll be there All In. Don't worry. Maybe not All In for Ilya, but New Day 100%. But regardless, they're both showing up in AEW 1000%. Stampede, Hiromu did all he could in New Japan. Amazing run though. That's true as well. But I believe New Japan at the moment needs a mega star, someone to hitch their wagon to as the next star of the company. He could have been that guy, but I think he went for the money. which is fine. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but he just wanted something new, and there wasn't really much else, again, like you said, that he could do there, and maybe they just didn't think he could be the guy. Evan Bourne, Matt Seidel, yep, he's in AEW, Albert. Grado, big entrance. Yeah, I love Grado's entrance. Grado's a legend down there. I know that for sure. I like Grado. Yeah, so Ilja Dragunov, Sheamus, New Day, these are the guys that are going to be coming in. Now, another thing on the contracts of the WWE talent and the AEW talent. So if we just look here, I know I'm a little bit in the way here. There's a lot of talent contracts expiring in both companies in the next, say, 12 months. There's a lot on here that I think either company can do without, and they just don't really need in there. It's an opportunity to trim the roster. Obviously, you never want to see people lose their jobs, but at the end of the day, they're not going to be used. So they're better off elsewhere. If it's not AEW or WWE or going to a TNA, they can go to the indies. And there's been a lot of speculation and a lot of the reporters pretty much saying, because all these guys are coming out of contract, that the indie scene is going to blow up once again like they did just before AEW started. And the indie scene is going to blow up, which is great for MLW. It's great for MLP. It's great for even a Ring of Honor, really, but they're not really an indie anymore because it's still under the AEW banner. But JCW, GCW, all these other promotions, guys like Progress Wrestling, guys like Rev Pro as well, because people can kind of expand into those indie scenes. And this is going to bring a lot more eyes to these other companies, which again is a fantastic, fantastic thing. If we're looking at the WWE side of things, now the big one obviously is Bayley. Bayley's is running out, I believe, in October. So, which is very, very soon. Now, I was pretty confident that Bayley was leaving up until last week. Well, yeah, up until last week and especially this week. In my opinion, if Bayley was leaving, the WWE would not mention her one bit. They've mentioned her a lot over the past couple of weeks with Lyra, and she's mentioned her name, not just referring to her, mentioned her name a lot, which leads me to believe that she's going to resign. I hope she doesn't, because I don't think there's anything more that she can do in the WWE right now. And I really hope she goes to AEW, because I think she'll be very good, not only for the women coming up there, but she's got a lot of people that she wants to wrestle there, like Chris Statlander. Obviously, the story is there with Mercedes as well. And I just think she's just got a lot more to do in AEW. Someone told me today, she hasn't done everything in WWE. She's never won the Royal Rumble. She's never, has she won the Royal Rumble? But she hasn't won the IC title or the United States title. And I'm like, they do nothing for anyone. Those are just the most meaningless titles in wrestling right now. Winning the IC title or the United States Championship is going to do absolutely nothing for her career. And he said, but she can be a Grand Slam champion. Does that really mean anything? I don't really think so, to be honest with you. So, again, I don't think there's much that she can do there. Other guys, Rey Mysterio, he's not leaving. Rusev, only April 2027. That's going to be an interesting one, because if he only signed for 2 years in April next year, that's not far away, and they haven't really done much with him at all. They've tried, but he's done nothing. In the IC title picture, he's been overshadowed by guys like Ethan Page, who I love anyway. Chad Gable is there now. Rusev's going to be an interesting one to look out for, because now that they've got Big Cass as well, they've got another big guy. If they wanted a big guy, a big dominant guy, they've got Obafemi there, obviously. Where does he fit in there as well? And again, he hasn't really done anything of note since going there. So he's one to watch out for. Chad Gable, he's going to resign. He's not going to go anywhere. Garza and, Garza he's probably one that's on the fence too. The Bellas, I couldn't care less about the Bellas, to be honest. They've still got another year or so on their contract anyway. Seth Rollins, the fall of 2028. So he's there for another year, basically. He's another guy that I would like to see jump ship, purely for the reason that he's got nothing left to do in the WWE right now. I mean, like, seriously, what is there left for him to do? What stories can he tell with the people on the roster now that he hasn't told already and get repetitive? I don't think there's anything else that he can do right now. I would love to see him in AEW, again, with all the guys on the card. By that time, Omega probably won't be there, but you'll definitely have guys like Ospreay there, Takeshita, Fletcher. So many guys that this guy can have just absolutely incredible matches with and tell stories. Because again, it's very, very redundant with him in WWE right now. There's not much he can do. Dom Mysterio is going to be staying. Finn Balor is 2029. That's way far away. All these 2029, 2030 ones we won't even go into, because it's just too long. AEW, on the other hand, before we get to that, we'll read some of the comments as well before they get away from me. Now, Stampede, WWE contracts are all pretty much 90-day contracts where TKO have shown to not honor the contracts agreed to. Stampede, I don't know if you saw the, what's his name? Oh my God. Jinder Mahal's video about breaking down the 90-day non-competes and how they don't exist. So definitely go watch that if you haven't. She did win the Rumble. I thought so, Doug. I agree. Other than a return funeral with Lyra, which has already been seen, there's nothing for Bayley. Hate to see her go, but it's perhaps her time. And that's my point. Because Lyra's the one teasing her, but we just finished this story. She beat her and that's it. And now she's gone on her arc. We don't need, Bayley isn't needed here anymore at all. Adam, on Bayley, what if she re-signed but was the first to ensure a no-cut clause in her contract? This changing the game for everyone at WWE. I don't think that she's that important for them to do so, Adam. Yeah, I don't see that happening either. Garza will be kept in AAA, I'd imagine. Potentially, but then we thought the same with Santos Escobar, and then he was there, and then they just cut him after bringing him back. So who knows? Does he really serve a purpose there? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Now looking at the AEW side of things. Now, Kip Sabian, he's never really done anything wrong. He just doesn't really hit. Kip Sabian's a guy that, in my opinion, they can do without. Jim Ross, it's Jim Ross. Ortiz, they can do without him. He's not really doing much. Scorpio Sky, not really doing much. I really like Scorpio Sky, but he's just so injury prone and so stop-start. He can do without. Britt Baker, I don't think that there's any facet that she is coming back to AEW at this point. There are rumors of her being on that show in Georgia for the Rebel show to raise awareness, which she probably will be there because she's one of her best friends, and I get that. But in terms of actually re-signing with AEW, I think that it's written on the wall. She hasn't been featured in 2 years. So I think she's gone. Amanada definitely re-signed February 27. Perazzo, she's doing good work in Ring of Honor, so they'll keep her. Bobby Cruz, commentator. Samoa Joe till 2027. He'll resign. He's not going back to WWE. Adam Cole, who knows what's going on with his health. I would love to see as a feel-good story him come back in the gauntlet if he's ready to go. But definitely you'd be keeping him. Okada you'd be keeping. FTR. Now, I saw some people online saying FTR are running out their contracts and they're going to go back to the WWE. They've had enough. They can't do anything else. There's no way in the world that FTR are going back to the WWE. Have you seen their tag division? Have you ever heard anything that Dax Harwood has ever said about why he wrestles, his love for tag team wrestling, why they wrestle, why they do it, legacy and all this shit? What the fuck are they going to do in WWE? There is no tag division. The tag division is dead. There's no way in the world they're going back to the WWE. Even after the way they were treated last time as well. And they have a very good relationship with Tony Khan, and Tony Khan is not letting them go back there. If they don't resign, they'll probably just retire or be part-timers. Because if you do remember when they signed their last contract, they said this is going to be a 4-year deal. This is going to be our last run. And this is where it's coming up. So they're not going anywhere. Kota Ibushi, he's barely ever seen anywhere because he's always injured. That's take it or leave it for me. Kyle O'Reilly, December 27. I don't think he's going anywhere either. WWE don't really have any use for him, I don't believe anyway. And these ones were getting into the 2027, so still a while away. The Rascals, we'll see what happens with them because they haven't really been used very much at all. I would love to see them featured more in this tag and trios division. Hopefully they do that. But they haven't been featured that heavily. Now, the guys, the most important guys, Hangman, Mox, Omega, and the Bucks are all coming up at the same time in 2027. Now, if they would, I don't see any of them really going. Hangman, I don't think is going. Moxie, I don't think is going. Omega, I think will probably just end up retiring. And the Bucks, I don't see going either. However, apparently they were close from their last contract, and they pretty much came together and said, it's all or nothing. We either all go or we all stay, and they all stayed, except for Cody, obviously. Now, if they were to lose a Moxley, if they were to lose Omega and the Bucks, this could be absolutely devastating for the future of AEW. These are the guys who literally built the company and they left. Not only that, now, not saying that there's people that can't overtake them in terms of their spots. They've got a lot of talent on the roster. Just the visual of them leaving the company, going to WWE is just going to be absolutely, it's going to fucking kill them. It really, really is in the eyes of the public, in the eyes of the fans. AEW, I don't think will ever recover if they all leave at once. I really, really don't, to be honest with you. So it's going to be very important for them to hold on to them. I think Moxley, out of all of them, Moxley's maybe the only one that would leave, I guess. But I don't see that happening. He loves wrestling too much. He loves the crazy shit too much. He's never going to be able to be John Moxley in the WWE. Not happening. Cassie and Jesse McKay, I mean, who gives a shit? They've literally never been seen anyway. I don't even know why they were signed, to be honest with you. Chris Jericho to April 2028. That's fine. He can just retire after that. Swerve, I don't see him going anywhere either. 2028 anyway. Shelton, Matt Menard, Eddie Kingston. Yeah, look, I don't think any of them. Like Matt Menard, Eddie Kingston, not Eddie, but Matt Menard, he's more of a commentator now anyway. So it'll be interesting to see. Now, TNA as well. We'll touch on TNA. There's not many here because they don't really have barely any roster anyway. Mara Sade. Now, her contract has expired. The rumor is she's coming to AEW. If you guys don't know, she's dating Kevin Knight as well. So that obviously makes a lot of sense there. Haven't seen much of her, but the women's division in AEW is kind of stacked at the moment. So adding someone else to the division will be really good. Leon Slater, fall of 2026. Now, he's just won the belt as well. He just won the X Division title or whatever it was. So maybe he has resigned, or maybe he's just he's signed with WWE, and they're going to be, obviously with their relationship, they're going to be allowing him to do so. Elena Black and Zia Brookside, I mean, can take him or leave him for me. Wherever they go, they go. June 2028 with Moose. Moose, I don't think he's going anywhere else other than TNA as well. He's getting older in age too. Chris Bay, I mean, his health is questionable anyway with his neck, and who knows if he's going to wrestle again, which will be interesting. But definitely a lot of interesting names there that could jump ship and could be used in the other companies. So the main ones for me that I think to look out for from either company is obviously Bayley. I don't know with all the mentions of her if she's going to be jumping ship after that, but it's yet to be seen. Guys like FTR, I don't see going over to the WWE. I think they're going to be more on their retirement run. But again, will be interesting to see. Now, let's see what you guys think about the people here. Garza will be kept in AAA. We read that. Bayley will never get a no-cut clause. Like I said, Stampede, I don't think either. I don't think they'll do that for anyone, to be honest, unless maybe Roman, which doesn't matter because they're not going to cut him. Miss Bayley's original entrance, the Bayley Buddy Balloons. Yeah, her entrance theme is probably up there with the worst at the moment. Doug? Have you seen the videos of Bayley and Finn doing each other's entrances so far? I haven't seen that, Adam. Aaron, sorry, I'll check that out. Adam, Jim Ross has said he made peace with not being re-signed, that he's hope they give him a proper send-off, say like a Dynamite in Oklahoma and market as Jim Ross last call at the farewell special. I would like to see that because Jim Ross has really lost it, in my opinion. Obviously, health-wise, this is why. It's nothing to do with him personally. It's just his health is slowing down with all his stuff he's got going on. So I think Tony will just keep re-signing him just because he loves him and just show up here and there and just throw away that money, really, because he is a legend. But on the call, he can't do it anymore. He really can't. He's not what he used to be. Doug, other mixed tag team challenges video available? I'm not sure. Doug as well. Mox won't go back to the WWE. MJF must be kept in AEW. I don't think Mox will go back. Like I said, he can't be John Moxley in the WWE. The crazy shit he does in AEW, all the bleeding and all that stuff, that's what he lives for. He's not going to be able to do that in the WWE. A Flynn, 6279, another first commenter. Thanks for joining us, mate. Really appreciate you here in the community. Voice your opinion. This is what we're all here for. And thank you. You've joined the running. I think we've only got a few spots left, guys. So that $150 voucher is going to be drawn very, very soon. So thanks for joining us, A Flynn. If you go to Japan, you will notice that the most men are average height, but there are some men who have been seen and measured who are at least 20 feet tall. I don't know about 20 feet tall, but Japan's more of a hard-hitting style, which is why I think guys like Dragunov will do fucking tremendous work there. Really, really do. Leon Slater has NXT written all over him. I think this is where it's leading. I don't think he's gone to AEW. There were rumors, but if they're making him hold on to the title, it's kind of a telltale sign that he's not going anywhere. If he does, WWE, they can still use him. Stampede, Leon used his call your shot option to go after TNA title, which means he's no longer X Division champion. Right. Okay. So that's interesting too. So that means if he does go after that title and he loses, maybe he's out the door. Okay. I didn't know that, Stampede. Thanks for that. That's why you guys should follow Stampede. This guy knows everything. Fearfully confident. My guy, thanks for joining us, man. If you read Moxie's book, it proves he will never go back to the Fed. I haven't read it. So, who was reading it before? Aaron, was it? No, sorry, Doug. Doug was reading it. And he said it's a really good read. So I might have to listen to that. But again, I don't think he's going back mainly because he can't do the shit that he does in AEW anywhere else. No one else is going to let him, especially, least of all, the WWE. Chunk, I need the voucher to acknowledge my tribal chief and a new Joe Henry shirt. Well, Chunk, you're definitely going to be in the running 100%. You're one of the OGs. And if we're going to be drawing that soon, the way it's looking, probably in the next couple of weeks. I think we've only got, like I said, there's under 10 spots left to hit that 50. So this is why it's important. If you want to get that voucher, share the YouTube link, invite your friends, get them to comment on the chat. If you want to make a fake one, make a fake one. Adam, do what you got to do. But 50 is almost there, and we're building every week here, and this is why I love you guys as well. So again, a lot of interesting names on these contracts coming up. Where they go is obviously yet to be seen, but I think a lot of them can just be let go back to the indies, get that indie scene rocking and rolling again, because a lot of these guys will get re-signed and not do much. There's a lot of guys in AEW right now. You look at their roster, I mean, they've got like over 200 wrestlers between AEW and Ring of Honor. It's just way, way too much. Especially when you've only got, if you're including Ring of Honor, you've got 6 hours of television. It's just way, way too much. It really, really is. And a lot of these guys are there because they're day one guys with AEW, and Tony has this affinity for them, and which is good because Tony's just a great guy, and we all know that, and that's what we all love about him as well, 100%. But at a certain point, you can't keep holding wrestlers hostage. You can't just keep them under contract if they're going to do nothing. You let them go do what they want to do. If they want to go to the WWE, let them go. It is what it is. You need to trim down the roster and give the talent some more focus, because a lot of them get lost in the shuffle. Guys like, even guys like when they re-signed Daniel Garcia, they re-signed him, and then he's never been colder since he's been re-signed. So it happens a lot. They just need to make sure that they make the right calls on this roster. Doug, the audio book is best version of Mox because Moxie reads it, and I've heard he does some special performances for the audio version. Is he bleeding when he's reading it? Probably is, Chuck. The AEW roster and WWE rosters are about the same size for active wrestlers. They are, but if you're looking at, I think AEW is bigger, but if you're looking at the WWE side of things, they've also got Evolve, they've also got NXT, and they've got more TV time as well. SmackDown's going back to 3 hours as well. They're only going to 2 hours, I think, until the new year, and then January they're going back to 3 hours. So there's a lot more TV time. JGAB8233. Guys, we got another commenter. Thanks for joining us, mate. Subscribe if you haven't already. Join the community and come along every week. We love to have you. I still see Rhea joining her husband in AEW. Why would Buddy take a pay cut to go back to the WWE? I think it's the other way around, JG. The other way around. Rhea is definitely not leaving WWE. She is their golden goose. They will definitely not be letting her go. Buddy is definitely, I'm telling you, like, so I know from a source close to Buddy and Rhea, and I know you might think, oh, what do you know? You don't know nobody. I know from a source from people that I'm just going to say are very close to them, that Buddy is just basically waiting for his contract to end in AEW, and he's going to go back to the WWE because he can't stand being away from his missus. And if you've seen their post or whatever, you will see that he is just dribbles over Rhea like a puppy dog. So I believe that a lot. So I think after his AEW contract is up, obviously he's had a lot of injury time added on, he will be going back there to be with his missus. 100%. Rhea's not going the other way around. Fearfully confident. How do you feel about All In selling out night 1 and night 2 of SummerSlam with potential to eclipse or get super close to Mania? Like I said, Fearfully, I was pretty critical of them going back to Wembley this year. I thought it was a bit of an overshot. And I guess they're proving me wrong now because they're going to be close to the 50K mark. But I still think that they shouldn't run Wembley again. Yes, there's 50K in the building, but they did discount a lot of tickets and all of that stuff. I think they'd be much better served going to an arena that's 25,000, 30,000, even 20, and pack the son of a bitch out and just make the atmosphere unreal if they want to go back to England. But it's obviously going to be a really good feat for them to reach that 47, 48K. Even if they do get to 50, I think they can if the New Day is announced. and they have a really big show in Glasgow this week, it can definitely be there. If they reach, I think it's definitely a success at this point. They basically reached what they did last time. So I think nobody can call it a failure at this point. It's always going to be a success anyway when they're doing over 40K. That's a fantastic number. But again, I don't think they should be going to Wembley again. Or if they do go for Wembley, let's put it on pause for 3, 4, 5 years. Come back at a later time. They can't keep going every year. Adam, biggest question for AEW right now. How the bloody hell is Sammy Guevara still employed? So this is what I mean. There's guys on the roster that are there that are pretty much doing nothing. Sammy Guevara is doing a lot of work in Ring of Honor though, but not a lot of people watch Ring of Honor. And I don't know what the hell's going on with Ring of Honor, to be honest. And I'll get to that in a minute with Ring of Honor and the other indies as well while we're on that. Chunk Stampede, does that include NXT, LFG, and Evolve? No, it doesn't. I mean, sorry, it probably would, but they have a lot more content, Chunk, which is what I said. Doug, both are probably too big. Stampede, I agree. Stampede's response, AEW's roster has the entire world and they have multiple wrestlers that have wrestlers in different promotions, double digits. WWE can't provide that. That is 100% true as well, because if you are signed to AEW, you can wrestle virtually wherever the fuck you want outside the WWE and TNA. So that is a great thing about signing with AEW. And I've said this a lot over the past couple months as well with these contracts and things. Like a Sheamus. A guy like Sheamus, I would like to see him pop up in AEW here and there, maybe team up with the Death Riders or Claudio or something like that. But I don't want to see him as a full-time talent. It'd be good for him to just show up whenever they need him, show up in New Japan, show up in Mexico, show up on the Indies, just go here, there, and everywhere. I would love to see that rather than a full-time wrestler. And you can only do that if you have the freedom to work Indies and work with AEW. That's the only spot. You're not going to be doing that in the WWE. Ribshot, my guy, thanks for joining us, man. They've got too many wrestlers and belts already on the main roster show. Main show. Cut both rosters down, scrap multiple belts, and keep the shows completely separate. I somewhat agree with that, Ribshot. I think a couple of the belts need to be cut. They don't need an international, continental, TNT, and national title for the men. It's just way, way too much. Get rid of the national title. I think even get rid of the international title, to be honest with you. Get rid of them both. Have a Continental and TNT, and that's it. That's what the mid-card should be, which is United States IC title. That's how it's been. That's how it's always been. So I think that's how it should go, to be honest with you. Like Texas last year was great, fearfully. Yeah, 100%. They can't keep going back to Wembley, and they're never going to fill the stadium like they did with that 80K, no matter how big they get. So they should just stay away from it. A lot of people waited to get all-in tickets. I only bought mine yesterday. Yeah, I don't think anyone should be buying tickets straight away now in WWE, AEW, because they're never going to sell out these days. And you're always going to have available tickets. The only way that you should buy tickets straight away is what I do, is if you want to sit front row and get the packages and all that type of shit, because then they might go. WWE, I mean, fucking who the fuck can afford 15 grand? But AEW, I've been to, one AEW show, the other one I bought tickets for, but I couldn't end up going. When I came to Grand Slam Australia, the full package, the full wazoo, like the pre-show function, the meet and greets, front row, the chair taken home, everything like that, it was $1,000. So compared to WWE, which is fucking 15 grand. So yeah, that's the only way I would buy them first. Chunk, talking to the attendance, is the arena for France too small? Good for first time. The arena for France is 100% a fantastic size. It's a great call by them. 8,000 to 9,000, pack it out in France. If they can pack it out, hopefully, it's perfect, because anything over that will be an overshot. They get a soccer stadium or something like they tried to do in Australia. It's not going to work. Pack it out the first time, make the demand there, come back the next year, and then do a bigger stadium, see what the demand's like. Hit the like, everyone. Fearfully, thank you for that, mate. Everyone hit the like, and follow Fearfully Confident on X as well. He does a lot of comments. He's a big fan of Bobby Monsoon as well, who will be on the show very, very soon. So watch out for that. Fearfully Confident. Appreciate you, my guy. Adam Walker, Aru Hawani uploaded the interview of Ospreay. I've already watched it this morning. Looking forward to seeing if Aru understands Essex English. I watched the Ospreay interview this morning on my way to work here, on my way to the show. And it was a decent interview. They didn't really speak about much. Probably the most interesting thing about it was he asked him about the WWE reaching out to Ospreay for contract. And Ospreay basically said his management team spoke with the WWE, but he personally never spoke to them. They gave him a great offer, but he decided not to go because he actually said that he never was brought up on the WWE as a place that he really wanted to go. he started watching wrestling, really got into wrestling, watching TNA and watching like Ring of Honor and the Indies and things like that in England. So he's never really had an affinity to be in the WWE, which he says. So definitely watch the interview. It's not bad. It's definitely a good interview, but that was probably the main thing that came out of it. Adam, Sim Chunk, from what I've heard about the Adidas Arena, it'll be a good first run. Yeah, like I said, 8 to 9K. If it wasn't a month or so after All In, as a lot of their French fans are coming there, so won't have the money. It's only, it's in October, isn't it? So it's a couple months after. You're right. Why'd you say that, smartest Mark? That's probably my worst impression, but yes, he will be on. He will be on, Bobby Monsoon, my guy. Fifthly confident. Do you know Athena had the asthma attack during the main event of Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor? Yes, I do know that. I got to watch the end of that match because I actually missed it. Because it was a long show. So I've got to go back and watch it. But yes, she did have an asthma attack in that ring. So maybe that's why there was some angle here between Maya and Athena. I don't know where it got paid off, maybe on Ring of Honor. But there's a bit of a loose end there for me. That has to be done on AEW television, especially as the TBS champion. They can just have a TBS title match. So I don't really know what the story is there. That's another one. Adam, who was saying before the matches to be added, that's probably going to be a match that's going to be added. Maya and probably Chris Statlander or something for the TBS title, I think. That's potentially one that could be added, I guess. That makes sense. I'm only about half an hour away where Osprey is from, and I don't understand it. You don't understand it? I understand it. I understand it fine. If you want to see great women's promo work, watch Athena at Ring of Honor Media Scrum. I saw that as well, fearfully. That's why the minions came out to protect her. Yes, I did see that. Basically, we've heard pretty much getting upset at everyone saying about why she's stuck in Ring of Honor and why she's not on AEW and things like that. She gave a great promo, and I really did like that from her, 100%. Speaking of contracts, speaking of signings. Now, Avery Styles signs with TNA. Now, I went back and forth with a few people on this as well. I think it's a great move for Avery. I really, really do, because TNA is one of those proving grounds where he can go there, do a lot of great work, and build himself into his own. The thing I don't like about this, actually, before I get to that, the other thing I do like about this, like we said with the whole hoopla that happened the other week about him setting up the chairs at GCW and things like that. Now, this kid can walk into the PC and say, give me a fucking contract now, and they will do it. So he has no reason to be going to TNA or working indies and all this shit. He could go get signed to WWE tomorrow if he wants. And he didn't take the easy route, okay? That's what I like about it. What I don't like about it is I think they're leaning way, way, way too much into the AJ Styles son aspect of things. He's got the same logo, the same look, the same name. He's a phenomenal son, not the phenomenal one. I get it. The play on words is actually pretty cool. But when you're leaning so heavily into a legend of the industry, your father, a legend of the business, living up to that is going to be a crazy, crazy feat. Now, AJ has said himself that he's way better than he ever was at his age, and he has so much potential and all this type of stuff. And maybe he will be better than his dad. I hope to God he's better than his dad. But leaning into it is very, very dangerous, especially in TNA where your dad started as well. There's going to be a lot to live up to. And if he doesn't live up to it, it's going to be very, very bad for him going forward. The other thing, and now again, I don't really want to harp on this because the kid's only 19. It was the first time he's been out there on national television. But the promo he cut was just absolutely terrible. It really was. I don't know, like he looked like he was about to have a heart attack. He was breathing that heavily. Because obviously he was very nervous and it was just really bad. So he's got a lot of work to do, which is fine because he's still young and it's his first contract. I don't know what you guys think about Avery Styles. I haven't actually seen him wrestle. I've seen clips here and there from him in GCW, but I'm excited to see where this leads for him, and I'm just excited to see kind of his growth and, again, where this leads for him. So I don't know what you guys think about Avery Styles, but I think leaning in too heavily to the AJ Styles son's aspect of things is going to be very, very dangerous for him moving forward. So I don't know what you guys think. Where are we up to? Doug. Athena and Tony spent half their time at the scrum dancing around the question of what she's finally going to go on the main roster. There has to be some kind of plan here. There has to be some kind of reason as to why she's still down there. I know they try to break the record with the Ring of Honor champion, which they've done now, so I don't know why she's still down there. Maybe they're waiting for Billy Starks to progress a little bit more to pay off that story. I don't know. But she has to move up to that roster soon. And again, the story is there. The perfect opportunity is there now. She's got the Maya World feud. Go to Maya World, get the TBS Championship, and then drop that Ring of Honor title, maybe even to Maya World. And she goes back down there, or Billy Starks is probably the obvious one that should happen. And then just get her on AEW TV. It's not that hard. Adam Wise will say it. I think you're talking about his interview there. Fearfully confident. She has to drop the Ring of Honor title first, although Wyatt has been exactly. That's the other thing. They're talking about, she's Ring of Honor champion. She has to drop the belt. Bandito's on TV every week for AEW. So that, again, doesn't make sense. I don't know what the hell the problem is here. But it just doesn't really make sense. There has to be some kind of plan here for her. Fearfully, his dad hopes he's better than his dad. Yeah, his dad said he actually is better than him. So we'll see where that leads. Athena should have dropped it. It was time. It's the other side of you're still talking about Ospreay. Doug, Avery hasn't found himself yet. Look how long it took Charlotte Flair. She's actually even found it herself yet. Again, he's very, very young. I'm not having a go at him in that regard. He's got a lot of time. He can be in TNA for 10 years and still be younger than, still be under 30 and go to the WWE. He's still got a lot of time to learn and to work 100%. I just think it's very dangerous when you lean heavily into this guy's son. That's what I think. And Stampede agrees with me from his comment. Avery needs to forge his own path, not AJ's path. David Finlay versus Finlay is an example, 100%. Like I said, he needs to forge his own path. I would have loved, actually, for him to come out there, because everyone expects him to be the happy kid and whatever. I would have loved for him to go out there and said, AJ Styles is my dad, like in some form or fashion. I'm his son and I'm here. And guess what? I'm better than my dad. Fuck my dad. I'm my own person. All of you's here. I don't need your opinion. I don't need your support. I'll do something and just go mega heel. Because that would be that's a great way for him to grow. Start him off as a heel because he's very young. It's much easier for him to be a heel than to be a face. Because being a heel is always easier. You hear that in the business all the time. I would have loved for them to do something like that and start him off hot because he's going to get some interest straight away, him being a heel, 100%. Fearfully, she already did, and Bandito is approaching the record on the men's side. Is he approaching the record on the men's side? Maybe they're trying to do that for both. I mean, are you going to break... who's got the record now? Is it Samoa Joe or CM Punk? I believe it's Samoa Joe. And Samoa Joe is on his way back soon as well, because I think his filming is over, which would be great because I love Samoa Joe as well. Stampede, Athena's matches in 2026 Ring of Honor 14 AEW. Oh, Ring of Honor 14, 9 in AEW. Has she had that many in AEW? Wow, I haven't. Oh, she has actually. She's been doing a lot on Collision. And we had obviously the Owen tournament too. Doug, but David Finlay has to get away from New Japan to find himself. Yes, not really. I think he was always himself in New Japan. He was always his own character. He never really lent into the Finlay thing other than the shillelagh, obviously. Avery needs to learn from Rena as both are 19, but guess she's been learning from the dojo for a much longer time. Yeah, Avery's very, very fresh. He's only been doing this for a few years and he's never been in the system. So he hasn't been in the dojo, hasn't been in any of that stuff. Is TNA the best place to learn from him? Maybe not, but it doesn't really matter because that is AJ Styles. You can train with that guy every day and that's all you need to learn. So it doesn't really matter where he goes, in my opinion. Don't WWE already have a heel who hates his dad? Would Avery be too similar if he did that? That is a good point as well, but he's not on WWE TV. So I think it's going to be a little bit different. Fearfully confident. Joe, yeah, so it is Joe. I thought so. Adam Walker, if Avery played to AJ's comments about not being there as a dad and just launched at him for never being there. Like I said, I think it would have been great for him to come out as a heel because it'd be something different, something new, and nobody's going to expect it because they think did what he did. Come out as a happy-go-lucky kid. Clint Hardy, my guy, another first-time commentator. We go back and forth a lot on X, and I'm happy you've joined us, mate, because this is a community you want to be a part of, man. All your opinions, all your thoughts can be heard here. No one's going to abuse you in the comments. I'm not going to abuse you. All your questions are going to be answered. Thanks for joining us, mate. Hi, how is everyone doing? How are you doing, Clint? Easy prediction, Daybreak debuting at Wembley Stadium. I believe that's happening. I don't think they're going to debut there, or they will in the match sense. I think they're going to be debuting Clint on Dynamite this week in Glasgow. Because I think AEW want to sell some more tickets, get them out there, trot them out there before, even just tease that they're going to be there in some form or fashion. They'll be there in Glasgow. Even if Swerve says it's a new day or something like that, they need to sell some more tickets, get that last drive going. So I think they'll be there in some fashion. But Clint, thanks for joining us. And you've also joined the list. for the 50 commenters for the $150 voucher. We're getting closer and closer, people. Invite your friends in. We're nearly there. And join us every single week, because this, again, is a community you want to be a part of. Everyone here will tell you that. Doug, fair. Mark, but David wasn't under his dad's thumb while in New Japan. Going other places helped him. I 100% agree with that. Now, 100% I agree with that. What's up, Clint? Welcome. What's up, Clint? Clint, this is a community, man, and you're a part of it now. And all the boys, follow everyone on X, follow everyone in here, get the comments going, and give me your thoughts and opinions. That's what this is all about, mate. Clint is, I believe, the 4th new commentator today. So you leave 4 more before the draw, or my numbers up. It's about 4. I've got to double check. I think we've got about 4 left, 3 or 4. So you've got to create 4 more fake accounts, Adam, to get there. But yes, we're nearly there. What I might do next week, if we're not there, I might share the list just to see how far we're off. Actually, I might even share it on Twitter. But I think we're 2 or 3 away. Clint, I do think Swerve Strickland does tease Daybreak on Wednesday Night Dynamite in Glasgow, Scotland. 100% they should do that, because, again, they need that last little push, that last little drive. Now, the last couple of things I want to cover here. Now, the issue I have, which we spoke about before, the issue I have with Major League Wrestling, Maple Leaf Pro, and Ring of Honor, and the other indies, but mainly these 3. These 3 promotions, I'm not going to call Ring of Honor indie, because obviously it's under the AEW banner, but MLP and MLW. The problem I have with these promotions, now, MLP is now on myaew.com, so I can watch it on there. Previously, I was watching it on YouTube, but now I can watch it on there. Now, I understand they don't do weekly shows because of the budgets and things like that, but they do, I think, monthly shows now. MLW does a weekly show. They have Fusion. Obviously, it's pre-taped and things like that, but they have Fusion on YouTube every week for an hour. The problem I'm having with these shows, Chris Collins, what's up, my fam? I finally made it, Smartest Mark. Thank you for joining us, Chris. And again, another new commenter. We're nearly getting there, guys. Chris, you're in the running for the $150 voucher. We've only got a few people left to reach the goal of 50. And thank you for joining us, man. It's a community you want to be a part of. Get all your thoughts and opinions here. Join us every week. And we'll see you every week, mate. I'm really happy you joined us. And so is Adam, because he's closer to his $150 voucher. Where was I going? Yes. Actually, Clint, you might not be part of it either. Juggalos or Brits end up hijacking things. Yes, that's all right. I love the Brits and I love the Juggalos too, which I'll talk about now, because I'm on that now. MLW, MLP. The problem I have with them, if you watch their shows, it's just match after match. There's no stories being told whatsoever in these things. A little bit of a story in MLW with the main event with Cross and that, but there's not much of a story being told at all. So if you want to grow these indie promotions, if you want to get more eyes on a product and make it actually interesting rather than just having wrestling matches, you need to have some storylines here. On the Juggalo thing, the one promotion that does that is JCW, is Juggalo Championship Wrestling. Because of Vince Russo writing the show now, it's very heavily story driven. Now, you can say what you want. I say this all the time about JCW. Say what you want about the characters. They're very out there, and a lot of them are just too much for me. I don't even watch it for the characters or the matches, to be honest with you. I just follow the storylines like a TV show. And that is how these MLWs, these MLPs, even Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor is just 2 hours of wrestling. There's barely any stories being told here. There's a few promos backstage and things like that, but there's not many focuses on the storylines. They need to do a better job of doing that if they want to maintain momentum, if they want to grow their product. It can't just be match after match after match. We have to have some storytelling here. If you guys don't watch JCW, it's free on YouTube. It's growing every week. Vince Russo is a writer. Say what you want again about Vince Russo, storylines, characters, all that type of shit, right? But watch it, and I guarantee you'll be entertained, because the storylines there are at the forefront of the show. They open the show with a recap of last week, so you know exactly what's going on. They open the show with a promo segment. In between, they'll have 2 or 3 promos that lead up to the end of the show that pays off the promos that you saw before in the show and leads into next week. That is how it should be written. That is how stories should be told. That is how indies, in my opinion, should be operating. Matches, have banger matches, have those awesome matches, but have some stories. I'm trying to watch MLW. I'm trying to get into it. I'm trying to follow it more. I like Karrion Kross and trying to support these guys. And I'm watching it and I'm just like, what really is the point here? Because I'm just watching matches. There's no stories here. So that is my opinion on these indie promotions. What do you guys think? Do you guys even watch it? Let me know in the comments. Doug, I think the New Day Daybreak doesn't arrive just yet. I think AEW goes more into the Jack Perry story with Swerve. I don't think so. I think we're definitely leading. I'm willing to bet, Doug, that they'll be in Glasgow. I'm going to stick my neck out there a little bit about Glasgow and not All In, but either way, at the end of this weekend, they'll be in AEW, 100%. Great to have you here, Chris C. Very welcoming, Chris. Appreciate you, fam. Chris, come along every single week, mate. We love you here. Honestly, think Ring of Honor has been better than AEW. Really? I don't see that. Again, I try and watch Ring of Honor. Like the pay-per-view, fantastic. Pay-per-view is unreal. Always going to be unreal pay-per-views. I'm talking about storylines going in there. It's a bit hit or miss for me. Chris Collins, welcome to the Madhouse, where we listen to an Aussie guy fail at pronouncing juggalo. Repeating. No, well, they say juggalo. I say juggalo, but I've been told it's jugalo. You'd think he's learning off watching JCW Lunacy. No, honestly, who is it? The owner, what's his name? Violent J. He says jugalo. So you're wrong, Adam. All right, I'm going to push back on you on that. If it's up to me, I'll say juggalo. I found progress that they have their monthly show, but if you don't follow them on X and YouTube, you never know what's going on. And that is my point. It's the same with MLW. It's the same with MLP as well, and largely Ring of Honor. Doug, I'm honestly loving MLW right now. The matches are great. The guy, what's his name? Diego Hill. I like that guy. I really like that guy. Austin Aries is always fun. He's never really going to be in the big time again just because of the shit. He's like his personality and stuff is just not going to vibe anywhere anymore, really. I love Karrion Kross. But again, I just want some storytelling here. That's all I'm asking for. Now, the last thing I wanted to discuss here as well is a little bit of a... where is it? Oh, I haven't even got it here. I don't really need it anyway. The last thing I wanted to discuss. Now, The Rock. Heading into WrestleMania 43, I think we all kind of think if he's not wrestling, he's going to be showing up in some capacity. Now, the rumor obviously has been for a long time that it's going to be Roman and Rock at Saudi, and Roman and Rock is what they're going to be doing at WrestleMania for the main event. And it was probably supposed to be that before Cody threw the spanner in the works with the We Want Cody movement, and then they paid off that story. Now, The Rock has always said he does not want to go into WrestleMania without a proper camp, without a proper training schedule and regimen leading up to it so he can look the part and all of that. Now, The Rock has lost a lot of weight recently because he wants to be featured in more roles that aren't catered to the big badass guy that he's normally cast as and getting typecast. So he's lost a lot of weight recently. Now, we know WrestleMania is in April next year. We do know now Vin Diesel announced at some kind of event or whatever it was about a week ago, the last movie, Fast Forever, the last movie of the Fast franchise, which is just an absolute fucking joke after Fast 4, it just turned to absolute shit. I don't know how anyone watches it after that, to be honest with you. Regardless, Fast Forever is being filmed in December this year. Now, they're also going to have a break because December this year is obviously Christmas and New Year's. So apparently it's going to take 4 to 5 months for them to film this. 4 to 5 months for them to film this is going to take them into WrestleMania season, which means The Rock is going to be filming that whole time, which means he's not going to have enough time to train, which means he's probably not going to be wrestling at WrestleMania 43. Now, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. That's up to you. What do you guys think about the Roman Reigns and Rock scenario there, if they are still going to do that? But all signs are pretty much pointing to the fact that he will not be at WrestleMania 43 if this is the case with Fast Forever. So, Doug, I'm more of an in-ring storytelling person, so the match has been more to me as a fan. That's why I think Ring of Honor has been better than AEW. That's a fair point if you like that. Women not announced for All In: Persephone, Sheeta, Statlander, Maya, World, Tekla. We need the Women's Casino Gauntlet even on the kickoff show. I think it's too late to announce that now, Doug. It would have been a good idea. I mean, they had it last year. There was 2 gauntlets last year, but I think if they were going to do a gauntlet, it would have been announced already. I don't mind it being on the pre-show either. I really don't. And you know what? It could be a good way to get Tekla in there. She wins a But having said that, the new stipulation is they can't cash it. They need a week's notice, so they can't cash it in on the day. So again, it won't really serve a purpose. The Flex Zone, guys, follow the Flex Zone as well. I did a stream with them a few weeks ago. Great guys. They do a lot of breakdowns. If you like NFL as well, they do a lot of NFL breakdowns. They do live streams for Raw, SmackDown, and Dynamite, I believe, as well, and Collision. Follow them, guys. Thanks for joining us, man. Really appreciate it. Great show as always. Thank you, man. Really appreciate you and your team. Adam Walker, Doug, just a guess, we would have one if it wasn't for the one they did at Beach Break before Redemption. Why couldn't they? Exactly right. That was a way to get Willow back in the fold. So I don't think the gauntlet is going to be done now. They only did it a few weeks ago. And again, I think this should be used sparingly as well, 100%. Doug, progress has been awesome, Chunk. It seems like it got better since Nikki and Damien bought it, but it was always really good. Progress I really got to check out. I believe that's on my AEW as well. I only recently got into it. Unfortunately, I absolutely love it. Got my ticket for September. Yeah, Chunk, you really love that, don't you? Flex, the build to All In has been lackluster to me, but I think that the show will be better than NXT or AAA. We spoke about that before, Flex. The leading up to All In, I thought it was lackluster until last week. I thought last week's Dynamite was probably one of the best Dynamites I've seen for the whole year. Probably the only one I thought was better than this was the Dynamite after Double or Nothing, the follow-up. And that's the other thing. They need to follow up Dynamite after All In and keep these storylines going and keep this attention going. But I do agree. NXT, I think I'm actually more interested now in NXT than ever because Zilla's there. Grayson Waller's back. Santana is there. Tony D is there. Like the main title scene is really, really good. The women there, Kendall Gray and stuff are really good. So I've actually started to watch it over the past couple of weeks. I'm going to be watching it later today as well. Chris Collins, what's the best way to watch JCW like channel? Start a pay-per-view or post pay-per-view show? Chris, I would suggest, honestly, because the way they structure your show, you don't need to watch it before because they do a recap at the start of every show for like 5 minutes. This week's episode, they're doing a live episode on Saturday. Normally it's actually on Thursdays in the States. They're doing a live episode on Saturday this week for JCW, which you should watch, because they just had their Bloody Mania event last week, which is basically their WrestleMania. So this is a time to get into it because they're going to recap the whole storylines going from what's just happened. And this is going to go leading into some new storylines. Watch JCW on YouTube this week. I think you'll be impressed. Again, so the characters for me are too much. They've got like zombies, they've got clowns, they've got a lot of shit that's just way, way out there. But it's still very entertaining and the storylines are really, really good. They have a playlist you can catch up on, but the next live show is Saturday. Yeah, like I said, this is the best time to get in there. Adam's been drinking. Yeah, Adam has been drinking. Adam's always drinking, but it's a good thing. Chris Carlin's in the building. Yes, I have not. Hides 13 cans. CM Chunk, Hooked On Wrestling app is great for watching progress as well as plenty of other random wrestling for anyone that's interested. I don't know if I can get that here, but my AEW I think has it. Flex, I definitely got to wait to do our preview show because TK going to add another match or two. I know it's so after Wednesday, so I can do it. But 8 matches is a sweet spot for so more of that, please. 100%. We said that before, Flex, as well. I think the sweet spot is 8 on the main card. If they want to add something to the pre-show, that's fine. But I think 8 is probably the sweet spot for me. Clint, opening segment recaps should be under 3 minutes. I said 5, but it's probably more around the 3. But definitely check it out because they do a great job of doing those recaps. Chris Collins, appreciate the information. Smartestmark and Adam, no worries, mate. Definitely check it out. Even if you want to watch Bloody Mania. Bloody Mania, you probably won't know what's going on, really. So I would just wait till Saturday. The story I'm most interested in NXT is actual Charlotte versus Evil. Yep. To me, I'm more interested in this main event scene. I tried to watch NXT for ages. I just couldn't because the acting's just terrible. The scripting is terrible. The promos are just way too fake. And the wrestling was just like, okay. But the wrestling has picked up a lot. So I'm actually enjoying it now. Chris and Fearfully, what's up, fam? Good to see you here. These are boys from Bobby, I believe. Stampede, zombies and clowns. You literally just subscribe a portion of WWE. Yeah, that is true as well. But I mean, like, literally clowns. Like, they're painted as clowns. And zombies, as in, like, yeah, just watch it, Stampede, if you haven't. Doug, the clown guy in JCW was the Insane Clown Posse in the Attitude Era. No, I'm not even talking about that, Doug. They have like literally, they're called the Brothers of Funstruction, and they're literally clowns. But they do have a good storyline going, which is what I mean. Look past that stuff. They've got a guy called Cocaine, who's a ripoff of Kane, and his finisher is snorting a bag of coke and then going nuts. So that's the type of shit you see there. Shiloh Hill. I'm not really into Shiloh Hill. A lot of people like him, just not really into it. Who's your favorite wrestler of the year, men and women so far, no matter the company? Flex, that is a good question. And that is a question for the chat too. Everyone, drop your comments on who your favorite wrestler is this year so far for the men and the women. For the women, I'm going to go Tekla, 100% going Tekla. For the men, the men's a tough one, to be honest. I'm going to go Kevin Knight. That's probably a bit of left field. I don't know. I'm probably going to go Kevin Knight. When I get put in the spot like this, I can't really think, to be honest. But I think Tekla 100% and Kevin Knight, only because Kevin Knight had the heel turn, had a bit of a lay to his character. In the ring, the guy's fucking incredible. And I think there's a lot of stories that can be told with Kevin, to be honest. Kevin or Solo, just because Solo is funny as fuck. I don't know what you guys think, but I love him. Fearfully, what do you think of the HBO Max numbers for Dynamite? Those numbers don't seem to be released. What's an honest estimate? Honestly, it's hard to say, man. I don't know, but it's baffling to me that people, like when AEW is doing the 650, 700 marks, which they're routinely doing, they had a big dip this week. But in those numbers, if you look back to 2 years ago, that's the numbers they were doing without HBO. So, and they say, oh, numbers are dropping, they're not growing. Yes, they are growing because they got HBO Max, they're doing the same numbers that they did before. And the reporting on the Nielsen numbers is much more stringent than it was 2 years ago too. So I could only estimate that at least another 150 to 200,000 in total people across the TV and the HBO Max are watching than they were last year. Because again, the Nielsen ratings have been more stringent on how they count it over the past year. They keep changing their metrics anyway. But if you're getting 700 and whatever they were getting, 700, like they haven't touched that for like 2 years before HBO Max. So even if 50,000 are watching HBO Max, they're definitely 100% growing. So I reckon, I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know what subscription numbers are in America because we don't watch it on HBO. I would venture to say it's at least 50K. I'm going to say 50 as an estimate. Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope. Yeah. The zombies are the outbreak. Yeah. The zombies are the outbreak, and the clowns of Brothers of Construction and Cocaine. Men's main roster, Penta and Charlotte Hill, and NXT Charlotte, women Kendall. Everyone loves Kendall Gray as well. She's great as well. I just haven't seen enough of NXT to claim her as my favorite, to be honest, but she is great. And I love Penta as well. We've seen the photo of me and Penta at Raw, and he's one of my favorite wrestlers. I fucking love Penta. I do. Men, Darby. Women, Persephone. You love Persephone, Doug. She is your favorite. Women, Tekla, amen, 100%. Everyone loves Tekla. For women, I'd probably say Rena, but Hazuki makes me question that low. So you obviously I've got to get into Stardom a little bit more. Again, I don't have New Japan World. It's just I've got too many fucking subscriptions, man. It's just so hard to watch all this shit. But I will get there eventually. But I have heard a lot about Rena, and Hazuki was on Ring of Honor as well. Roman Reigns for the men, for Flex, and obviously he said Tekla. Here's still a match with Penta LA Knight on the way, which are going to be good. I think the matches are going to be good. The criticism I had with that tournament is that it's so predictable, man. We know it was always going to be Penta and Roman, and we know Roman's going to win. That's my one true kind of criticism of it. And the other thing I did say as well, like, man, I think that they would be much better served putting the final of Penta and Phoenix in Mexico City rather than having the final with Roman in Mexico City. I think the heat is going to be so much more better when they have brother versus brother, because the match they're going to put on is fucking ridiculous, and nobody thinks that Roman is losing. So just have that somewhere else. We don't need that in Mexico City. Just have the final in Mexico City, have Roman show up, do his entrance, and watch the match. That's all they need. Because Penta and Phoenix are going to put on a fucking absolute banger, and it's going to be in the middle of freaking, I don't even know where they are, Virginia or something next week. So, and it's a pre-tape show too. Flex. I have a friend who first saw wrestling with me at Progress in July, started watching WWE and AEW, didn't like it either. He did say, though, it's obvious Roman is a huge star. Obviously, Roman is a huge star. He's probably the biggest in the business. From Chunk. Chris Collins, I'm going to be real, I believe with all my heart, it's between 300 and 500K and max weekly. If that's what you think, that's what you think. I can't really comment because I'm from Australia, man. So I don't, this HBO, I don't know what subscribers are like. I don't know what you talk about with your mates, as in, probably, most of the people on polls say they're watching HBO Max as well, but I don't know. It's hard for me to say down here because I watch it on my AEW app. For guys, I really like Umira. Callum Newman has been doing some best work. Callum Newman's going to be there in All In. Mark my words. He will be showing up at All In some capacity, and the United Empire. Question, with my AEW showcasing more indie shows as well as being the $10 a month like the old WWE networks plus VPN use, do you think they might affect ratings as people use VPNs to avoid paying HBO? I think 100% that is the case. I don't think it would be that many people. Honestly, maybe 5 to 10K people would do that and go out their way to do that. I don't know, but it's hard to say. Kendall is my highest ranked WWE female wrestler. Stampede. Hot take, no more tournaments in wrestling, please. And Flex, this is my criticism of this Continental Cup too. We're literally going to have the Continental Classic in like a month or 2 months. Why do we need this tournament? It's just too much. It really is. And again, this Mexico City tournament, I mean, I get what they're trying to do, but the outcome was written on the wall before. And again, the final outcome in the match, Penta's not winning. Penta's going to go over Phoenix. We know that. And he's not beating Roman. So like, really, what is the point? Stampede. My match of the year is today. Rena defeats Starlight Kid in the Grand Prix final, 27 minutes in Stardom. I really got to watch Stardom because everyone loves Stardom. Doug, Kendall is great. She's already a star and it will only go up if they don't kill it somehow. Kendall will be on the main roster very, very soon. Don't worry about that. If I have one giant hope for All In, we really need to 2 upsets. Pay-per-views always have great action, but linear outcomes since Dynasty. I agree with that too. I think there will be some kind of angles closing this show, like I said. So there's definitely going to be surprises. I don't know about upsets, but there's definitely going to be surprises here, 100%. Chris Collins, my criticism of the tourney is that there is no signed AAA wrestler winning the tournament to face Roman and get the rub to put over so it does nothing AAA, just WWE. 100% you hit the nail on the head there, mate. 100%. And again, this tournament has been pointless. Absolutely pointless. If the only shining light I can see coming out of this, if they go there, hopefully they do go there, Penta and Ray just have a banger match. Penta goes over, they hug after, and then they come together after Penta loses, and they say, let's do this together. They finally fucking formed the Lucha Brothers in WWE. I've been wanting this for years now, okay? Tag division is dead. Nobody can reignite this division like the Lucha Brothers can. Get them together. How many wins will your Jets... Oh, fuck, man. I say 6 to 8. I don't know, man. They got a really tough schedule. I mean, I like what I'm seeing in the preseason from them. That Klubnik, I reckon he's going to end up being the number 1. To be honest, Gino actually had a good game the other day, but I don't know, man. We've got some good pieces, a linebacking room as well. We still got Garrett Wilson there. Who knows how? I think if we start off really, really bad and we're just fucking trash, I reckon they'll end up trading Garrett. I don't know. A lot can happen. 6 to 8, maybe. They're still not going to get us some playoffs, so who really cares? But we actually have a really tough fucking run, to be honest. Our schedule's fucked. I reckon we're only going to win like 5. But we'll see. Flex, I can't remember where you're from in the States, but like I said, I am coming to America at the end of the year, and I'm actually buying tickets this week for December 27th, I think it is, Jets at MetLife, Jets Patriots. So I'm going to see my first Jets game, my first NFL game. So I'm really excited for that. So if you are down there, I know you're not a Jets fan, you're a Baltimore fan, I think. But yeah, we'll catch up. I'm excited for that. But we'll probably definitely lose. Chris Collins, HBO Max has 140 million subscribers. They're hitting 500K easily, especially how they are on top 10 featured on the tab weekly for Max Sports tab. So are they featured in the top 10? Weekly? Is that the case? I don't know, man. I don't know. But 140 million, 500K easy. You kind of assume that, but then you look at Netflix and the WWE. Netflix subscribers is like triple that, isn't it? And WWE is only getting 2 million worldwide over 7 days. So I don't know. It's hard to say. Showed off some AAA talent, but Penta Phoenix was so obvious. 100%. It was an obvious outcome. Kyle Fletcher will be a great choice for the rest of the year. Kyle Fletcher has been really good fifthly as well. I love Kyle Fletcher. A little bit biased because he's an Aussie boy as well. But Kyle Fletcher, I think, is the future of the business. I really do. Has been to the moon, he saves his head in promo with Don Callis. Again, he's grown so much. Chunk said he hasn't seen him since 2024. If you look at him now compared to 2024, chalk and cheese. The guy's just an absolute superstar. Upset, McGuinness loses, leaves his boot in the rings, and Darby leaves in a body bag. He's been up for you. That's actually a good call, Adam. He could lose and have his retirement there. That's actually probably a good call. But I think the main point of it is for him to lift a trophy in Wembley like the FA Cup final. I think that's where they're going. Doug, at this point in time, though, there's still 4 months left. I put Rena up for the rest of the year. I like what we get to see brother versus brother, but the winner of the tournament, in my opinion, should be a signed AAA wrestler that with fan base aren't familiar with to get the rub against Roman for the gold. That is a great, great call, Chris. 100% a great call. I like it. And that's probably what they should have done. Maybe it could have been a Vikingo before he got injured or something like that, this is where they were leading. But I think they threw this together at the last minute, to be honest with you. Doug, HBO Max is easily the best streaming service in the US, but I don't think they've turned a profit yet, needing the Paramount merger. Ripshot, do you watch AFL? Of course I watch AFL. If you're talking about AFL as in Aussie rules football, 100%. Best game on earth, mate. At its best, it is the best game on earth. If you guys don't watch Aussie rules football, hit me up on X. I'll send you some links of like some great endings to games, some great highlights, hard-hitting action, and you'll fall in love with it. There's a guy from America that got into it over the past year or so. His name's Paco, P-A-C-O, Luciano. Look that guy up because all he does is watch AFL now, and he on Twitch and on YouTube and on his X and stuff and Instagram especially. He'll get you into AFL. It's fucking a great game, man. Thanks, Ripshot. We're on the East Coast, so not too far, but nothing like an NFL game live. I can't wait to go, man. I really can't. And I'm going to have good seats. Love the new chat box, by the way. Thank you. It's a lot more cleaner and it works better. Doug, 3 UK winners at All In would be weak pandering. That's not what we need at this show. That is one criticism I've had as well. We can't keep going into these shows just booking for the people in attendance. You have to book to the fans worldwide, not just the hometown pops. JGAB8233, Cody will be back in AEW in 2027. I don't think so, man. I think he's going to ride out his contract WWE and it'll end up being, I reckon he's going to take over the creative, to be honest with you. He's got that type of cut to him. I think he will do that. I don't think he's going back to AEW at all. Fearfully, Kyle Fletcher's trajectory changed the moment he stood in the middle of the ring and shaved his head, 100%. Chris, Netflix has 250 million subs and Raw gets 2 to 3 million weekly. In my opinion, it says Max has over 140 million for AEW featuring on the sports tab. Means there's a number I shoot. You could be right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't know. It's hard for me to comment from here, man. JH8, Tony doesn't do that. Yeah, it's been since Dynasty. I agree with that. And Ribshot, who's your AFL team? I watched GAA here. What's GAA? Here, and there are a lot of players who are getting poached. Oh, is that Gaelic football? Is it? Ribshot? My AFL team is, I can't get my mouse here, but you see my little cup here? Where is it? Oh, I've got to do it this way. There it is. My little cup here. Adelaide Crows, baby. I'm a Crows fan. So we're in the finals this year, and we've got the best captain in the league. Maybe, in my opinion, the best kids in the league too. So follow the Crows. Up the Crowies. Our legend just retired, Tex Walker. He's my favorite player of all time. And his name's Taylor Walker, but we call him Tex because of Walker. Texas Walker Ranger, that show. His nickname is Tex. We love our nicknames here in Australia. Ribshot, hit me up on X. I'll send you some highlights because there's been a few over the past year. Cody can stay right where he is. Oh, yeah, just send you a full Stardom show from last Monday to your DM. Thanks, Stampede. I'll definitely watch that as well. Chris, what do you think the Monday Night Raw ratings are Monday if it's only 2 million for 7 days? On Monday, as in live? It's a tough question. Again, this is things we don't really know. We can't really answer. But I think for the live number, honestly, I think it'd be around about the 1.5. I would say it's hard to tell, but I think it'll be around about that. How much will they lose when football is back? They're going to be losing a lot, fearfully, which is only a couple months away. That's what always happens with AEW and the WWE. WWE is probably going to get hit a lot harder because Monday Night Football is also going to be streamed on Netflix pretty much the same time as Raw. So the live number is going to take a massive hit, but we don't really get that live number anyway, which is, it probably kind of doesn't really matter because I guess a lot of people watch it later. But then again, a lot of people might not watch it because when it's not live, it's not the same. You get spoilers and shit anyway. Ribshot, Gaelic football. My wife is from Mayo. They just won the cup and their best player, Kobe McDonald, got poached by St Kilda. Ah, right. Yeah, they do get a lot of Irish players. The Adelaide Crows, Ribshot, have probably our best defender. His name's Mark Keane. Keane is his last name, Mark Keane. He's our best defender, one of the best defenders in the league as well. And he's Irish, and he's only about 25. He's only been playing AFL for about 3 years, and he's a fucking superstar. Really is. Just came back from a broken leg too in about 7 weeks. Yeah, absolute star. Doug, WWE ain't letting Cody go anytime soon. Stampede, he's still QB1 for a reason. I think WWE got now. Yeah, I don't think he's leaving ever. Follow the buzzards. I mean the crows. Yeah, follow the crows. Hit me up if you want some more crows input. 2 hours. This has been our longest show so far, guys, and I thank everyone for being here. This is probably our highest live attendance as well. Highest live commenters. We've got 4 or 5 new commenters today, which is awesome. And it's growing every week. We're getting closer and closer. I reckon by next week, we're going to be doing that wheel. So keep the comments going. Keep the shares going. Invite all your friends here. As always, keep an eye out. I've got a few Pro Wrestling Perspective episodes coming up. I think I've got one at the end of this week, and we've got a couple next week. The big ones that we've got coming up. Still locking in a time with Bobby Monsoon. So Fearfully and Chris. You guys will be happy to know that. Bobby Monsoon, we're going to be doing a show, but just locking in time to see when that works. That's coming up. Also, Takes by Tom. You guys have probably seen that guy a lot on X. He's very WWE heavy. Going to be doing a stream with him. I've got other guys lined up as well, just confirming times and things like that. But we will be doing a Pro Wrestling Perspective every week, as well as a Mark Zone. So 2 live streams coming every single week. I'll read the comments, the last comments before I go off the air, boys. Doug, my Netflix subscriptions end September 15, not renewing until Saudi. Yeah, King used to pay for Cork. Yes, he did. I believe he did used to pay for Cork. That rings a bell. And he's a great player, Ribshot. Cutting into NXT, can't wait to tune in and watch the OTM on NXT. They'll get majority of views live around 1.5, 1.8. Believe truly when WWE Cannibal Dynamite ain't too far behind. I think they are. I think about 1.5 is about right. When will Simon Miller be on? I would love Simon Miller to be on. You know what? I might reach out to him. I don't think he's going to reply to me, but he's probably a bit too big for me. But I'm actually going to reach out to him 100%. That's great because I love Simon Miller. His outlook and everything is just fucking awesome. So I'm you know what, Chunk? I'm going to hit him up. I'm definitely going to be hitting him up. Fearfully, cool. Keep up the great work. Thanks for joining us, Fearfully. I really appreciate it. Fair point, Stampede, but Cody still is a face of WWE more consistently. Like I said, I think he's going to go into a backstage role after his contract ends. Again, thank you guys for joining me. Really, really appreciate it. Love you all. Love the comments. Again, if you haven't liked the video already, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so. We're dropping live streams every single week. We're getting bigger and bigger every week. New commenters, new fans, new people in the chat, new people for you to interact with. That is what this whole show is about. This is a community to build where everyone can talk about pro wrestling together without the bullshit. Eventually, we're going to, I promise you, this is where we're leading. Eventually, we're going to get to a place where we can go to All In if it is at Wembley, and I can say we're meeting at this bar before the game. We're all going to have a beer together, and we're all going to go to the show together. That is what this community is about. That is what we are doing here. So thank you all for joining me here. Love yous all. Quick last comments, because I know they're coming in. Nothing against Buck Miller's the GOAT of wrestling YouTube. Yes, 100%. I love him. All In is over 43K. That's great. I think they'll hit 48. Have a great day or night, depending on... Yes, God bless everyone. Glad I got to make it to the stream with the chat. Thanks, Chris, for joining us. Love it. And we'll see you next week. But thank you again, everyone, for joining us. Love yous all. God bless. Have a blessed night. Have a blessed day wherever you are. And we'll see yous all next week. Thanks for joining us.
And now we are going live with the best pro wrestling community in the world. A safe space for all wrestling fans to come together and love pro wrestling. You have now entered the Mark Zone.